rested briefly in the forests after the conflict with the party of lycanthropes you all encountered. You discussed various interests over the short rest, as well as meeting, many of you for the first time, the other entity contained within Jiri. After a bit of discussion there, you moved forward, soon becoming surrounded by Eladrin Rangers of Kaer Methrandine, an abandoned and ruined Eladrin city. They escorted you to their leader, Morrigan, who was tentatively willing to entertain your request, considering allowing you access to their root of the Eldtree, and therefore possible way back home to Eridon. However, this did not come without a catch, as she requested a favor in return for you all to seek out and eradicate the group of beast trappers known as the Selenixians, or at least bring back proof that you had sundered their forces in some way, or acquire one of the rare beasts they likely have in captivity. She believes they may have established a temporary base of operations somewhat nearby, as there is a one of the few known structures that exists in this part of the woods is about a day's travel a little southeast of here, where the lycanthropes seem to have been heading. After this agreement was made, you all retreated to the woods for discussions and a long rest. And that is where we return to now, as Rome's watch has ended, and she is about to wake Tobirama for his shift. But before we get there, we dive in as a small recap to Jiri's dream. Jiri, you seemingly were surrounded in your neural storm that kind of occupies your mind very often, especially in your subconscious state. And the entity in your mind seemed to try and break down a wall to possibly lend you each other to each other's aid, enhancing your ability to recall memories. And after that process kind of violently took your mind, you got the sense that the next visual phenomenon taking place was not your memory, but possibly a memory of the entity, as you had never been in this position, kneeling, bound to the floor of the cold, stony dungeon workshop of Moira, that witch that had held you in captivity. Moira seemed to be looking upon you with some sort of tome in her hand, chanting, and the Arknight was visible back behind her with his gleaming, bright celestial armor, and seemed to say something along the lines of, "Your efforts seem to have been successful. What is next?" And Moira implied, well, the binding must take place next. And she, from her side, pulled off a table a long Vanta Black long sword, rather different from your understanding of your Odachi blade, but you've seen this in the some of your past memories as well, these Vanta Black weapons being set on tables and shelves. And she thrusts it forward, and you feel the pain of this entity you are looking through the eyes of. And as you scream out in pain, you almost simultaneous with this entity that you're seeing the memories of, you hear another voice in that space off to the right and out of view say, "I am sorry, brother." And Tobirama, simultaneously, you are also dreaming. You are surrounded in a dark expanse with the cool, comforting silver mists of Kelemvor surrounding you, shifting and curling in the air. And you exist in that space. I'm going to go back to that other music because I need it to loop. You exist within this darkness, and the mists curl and cool, and you feel that this is fairly lucid. You are in full control of your body, and it has been a number of minutes now, and you have not been reached out to by the kind of divine being that has called to you in the past. Is there anything you wish to do in this space?
No, I think I will just sit down, kind of cross-legged, and just kind of sit and meditate.
Okay. Go ahead and make a wisdom check for me. Actually, go ahead and make a religion check. Very good. You see the mists surrounding you, and with your high passive perception, you see them curl, and you do not hear the echoing, omnipresent voice of this being call out to you. And generally, when the dreams go on this long, he usually makes contact, but he hasn't right now. But you, with your passive perception, you're just seeing the curling, shifting mists. And occasionally they almost look like they take the forms of individuals that just quickly fade away, like coalescing into the form of a man, a woman, before immediately dispersing into the surroundings. And you've seen this kind of situation before, as once upon a time you saw in your mind a figure made of mist of the Arc Knight plunge its sword into your chest, just like it had done to Gallus before you woke up. But these spirits or forms don't seem to be assailing you or assaulting you in any way. And then most of the mist pulls away, and a single individual seems to be in front of you, formed entirely from mist. A somewhat tall individual at 6'2" or so, not as tall as Jiri, probably pretty similar to Telperion. But they have two enormous wings on their back that fold behind them. Very different from the Deva of Kelemvor that you know to have the 6 wings, 3 on each side. And this individual seems to just be standing. They're featureless because it's just like a silhouette almost made from mist, but they seem to be facing away from you. And they just take a couple steps forward into the darkness. Do you follow at all?
Yes, I will stand and get out my own wings and follow.
As you trigger your own wings in this space, it almost catches your vision off guard as the silver mists in the space around you seem to immediately become highly reflective as you trigger your wings, and that magenta bright light triggers. All of the space is lit with reflected bright magenta light. And noticeably, similarly, the individual in front of you, walking away from you, its wings seem to alight with bright magenta. And based on the surroundings of this space, you're not entirely sure if that is full reflection, because there almost seems to be a hint of luminescence in their own right.
Okay.
And they continue to walk forward. And they turn their head from side to side and keep moving. Is there anything you want to do?
I want to feel around my person and try and locate where I had put my Kelemvor token. And just
Sure, you're able to find that.
having found that, just feel affirms that it's still there, and then I'll follow this thing.
You're able to find your token, and as you grasp it, almost comfortingly, the cool mists continue to kind of swirl around you, but have noticeably pulled back from the individual walking ahead. And as you follow that individual, you get a sense of the distinction between whatever that individual is and your own connection to Kelemvor, the mists of this place, the Deva that has reached out to you. And as you follow, it eventually stops. And Jiri, as the individual off to the side in your memory, or the entity's memory, says, "I am sorry, brother." Toby Rama, in your dream, the figure turns around immediately towards you in the direction of you, featureless face, and you jolt awake. And Rome, we come back to you now in the actual space of these woods, just having walked over toward Toby Rama to wake him for his shift. Toby and Jiri both jolt awake, gasping and startled.
Well, Jiri's screaming, and he gets up, and he's like, "Alarm! Alarm! We're under attack! Ah!" And he like pulls his ripcord to like make his armor puffy, and he's like trying to wake everybody up.
Okay. I'll say with that commotion, you're able to wake everyone for sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to hide.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I'll say in this space with the kind of, you're not sure how dark it is in the sky with this ever-present twilight, but certainly down in below the canopy, it's still dark enough where you could start your camouflage process, kind of hiding into the shadows for sure. And there's probably enough tree cover here where, if you want, you could give me an actual stealth check.
Okay.
Tel'Varion, it's the Arc Knight. He's here to attack us.
Oh my
Get
God.
ready.
I have been getting up and getting my sword out and ready.
Okay.
Not my armor,
As
though.
a note, you are out of your armor.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a good question that I've never really brought up in the past on long rests, but I am assuming that in general everyone de-armors for the night to make sure they can get adequately restful sleep. Please let me know in the future if that's ever not the case, or if you are choosing less rest for more protection or more rest for more vulnerability. But certainly you guys are all able to kind of get up in this space. And Rome seems to, I'll say with Toby Rama, with your passive perception, you can still get an indicator of where she is located, but it is impressive how quickly her form camouflaged into her surroundings. You're all free to wake up.
Jiri,
Yeah, it's the Arc Knight, guys. Get ready.
where is he?
I just saw him. He's here.
Oh, okay, where?
I don't know, probably hiding from us in the shadows, waiting to strike. Be prepared. Get my back, Tel'Varion. Where's Roulette?
I'm right here. Alfie, do a quick sweep, and I'll just send Alfie out to do like a quick circle investigation of the surrounding areas to see if he's finding any traps, anyone hiding.
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception check for Alfie.
Forget what his thing is. Skill perception +6. Add 6 to this. 22.
Very good. Alfie does a sweep around the perimeter and does identify around over here.
Large man in metal.
Not a large man in metal, but a footprint having been left in a bit of more wet mud than the surroundings. And you indicate it to be probably of elven boot make, just probably indicating there is some version of watch or attention being given your party even as you sleep from the Eladrin nearby.
Interesting. Jiri, I will like forcefully whisper this, like making sure to really whisper it. Jiri, I didn't see him anywhere. I think the only people nearby are those elves from back there. They're tailing us or something. They're keeping their eyes on us, but I didn't see any sign of him.
You think he's teamed up with the elves then? I don't know. I definitely saw him.
Oh, I think they hate elves. So I think that's probably not what happened, but
Wait.
were you just
Were you awake when you saw him, Jerry?
No, I was sleeping when I saw him.
I'm gonna uncamouflage myself and reiterate that there's something troubled about Jerry. Troubled
Perfect.
man.
Jiri, I think your brain probably had a pretty rough day with Adras kind of coming to the forefront right before bed. I'm wondering if you may just had a pretty visual nightmare.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. But why would I dream of the Arc Knight? It seems scary and important.
That's a great question.
I'm like getting back into my bedroll area. Was this a Jerry dream or a regular dream?
I have one thing to clarify about it. Did I see Toby Rama in the dream as well?
No, you did not. Toby was nowhere to be found. You guys were just experiencing some kind of simultaneous, different dream. You were just dreaming at the same time to different regards, but for some reason you both kind of woke up in the same moment.
I don't know, Telpiran. It felt like a premonition. Like we might get attacked at any moment.
Well, that's why we keep someone on guard, and we keep an eye out. And he'd had to have followed us across another plane to get here. I don't think we're at the top of the list of being hunted down by him. I think we might be safe for the night, at least from Durastian threats.
You're right. My dreams are typically things that have already happened. I don't remember ever getting attacked by the Arc Knight twice. Weird. Okay.
Jerry, you feel kind of the clouding presence come into your mind as you hear, Jerry, I think if you do not have recollection of that memory, that may have been one of my own.
Oh, I've had everybody. That was my dad's dream. Yeah, guys, he got attacked by the Arc Knight at one point. False alarm! Everybody back to bed.
Well, that bit's way more interesting than anything else you've said so far.
Roulette is already cuddling back up to go to sleep. She's very tired.
That was just a test to see how ready we would be, just in case the Arc Knight actually attacked.
Wait, the shadow of Moby knows the Arc Knight.
Yeah, apparently. Which is weird because, like, I don't know. When would they have met each other?
Good question.
Well, the Arc Knight's from Daenor, right?
I think so. And next time we see him, we should ask him.
What was that idea?
Well, I'm gonna go rest because it's just keeping me up at this point. Seems like a false alarm.
I think you
Very
did
well.
a good job on duty, though. So,
Oh, thank you.
good job looking out for the Arc Knight.
I didn't see anything.
Jerry, have you ever thought about keeping a dream diary?
A dream diary? What's that?
Like, you write down things that you dreamt.
Ooh, I'm not big into writing.
I mean, your brain is just like, it's like scrambled eggs. It might help you to organize your thoughts after you have these visions. Might be able to retain some of your memories better.
Oh, you know who can write? Alfie. I'll have him write everything that I dream about.
I suppose that's the best I could hope for. Well, good night.
Okay, good night.
Perfect. Well, you guys are all able to somewhat disconcertedly make your way back to sleep. And Toby Rama, are you all set to take the next shift of watch?
Indeed, and kind of specifically knowing that this will lead into... Because Telperion already took his... No, you're
Telperion has been kind of interrupted from his trance a little bit, but he can.
Yeah,
probably get back
you're
to
watch
it.
number. You're about to be watch number 2,
gotcha.
and then I'll do 3 and 4.
That's right. Yep. And yep.
Perfect. Go ahead and give me a perception roll, please. With, well, I don't know if Roulette made you aware of the fact that there might have been some indication of elven presence nearby. I don't know if that's something Roulette would have said or not, but you feel very confident that there are no, over the course of your watch, that there are no prying eyes, no snapping of twigs that indicate people hiding up in the canopy. You feel very confident that you guys, at least your 30, 60, 90 foot radius is very well maintained with safety. Is there anything you want to do on your watch specifically?
No, I will just be changing attunements around kind of absent-mindedly while keeping an eye out.
Perfect. Well, your watch goes by successfully without issue. You are able to switch up your attunements as required, and you're able to wake Telperion, kind of shake him from his trance. He's probably coming down from it in right around the time where you're about to head over there. So,
all right, Telperion.
Oh,
I'm gonna hit the hay.
On with your rest.
There doesn't seem to be anything out and about. Obviously, the Eladrin are keeping an eye on us, but they're not encroaching on us in any ways I could tell.
Perfect.
Okay.
perfect. All right. Well, Telperion, as you get ready for your watch, when you come out of your trance, do you generally re-armor or do you continue? Okay, you do.
I think it's like a
you'll get your-
combination of like, because I often, whenever I think he's often just doing like exercises when he's, so like sometimes he'd probably like wake up and start with like stretches and like maybe some little like body lifting without the armor, but then he'd put it on and like be warming up in the armor too.
Got it.
But
Go ahead
probably
and
like
give me a
within half an hour after waking up, he's armored again.
Perfect. Go ahead and give me a perception roll that'll kind of represent all 4 hours of your watch.
16.
16. You, similarly to Toby Rama, do not get any indication of presence nearby. Although practicing with your forms and stuff, perhaps you're not overtly attentive to the most minor shifts of maybe a small critter moving through the forest and such, but nothing flags your attention that sends you into high alert. But after 4 hours go by, you all do.
Can I do something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
At like 1 hour prior to, hour 7 of rest, I want to think into Kinsalo's mind.
Kinsalo, do you have your read thought? Oh, you're implementing, you're
Thinking
sending
into it,
thoughts into. Okay, what are you thinking to his sleeping mind?
Good morning. Just like kind of bugging him to wake him up.
He like maybe stirs and twitches a facial muscle or two, but doesn't rouse from just that.
Oh, okay. I go over and poke him.
Oh, hey Telperion, are we ready to head out soon?
Well, the rest isn't over yet, but I felt like talking. You want to talk? You looked like you were
Sure.
rested
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let me kind of get my wits about me. Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
We'll take a minute, and we can kind of keep perimeter. Join me over here when you're ready.
Sounds good. He will kind of slowly get up, stretch his wings out, kind of do some similar stretching to you. He's a rather muscular individual and kind of gets his body warmed up for the day's adventuring. And then after a couple minutes, makes his way over to you. All right. Did you just want some aid on your watch, or did you have something specific in mind?
I just wanted company. Yeah, company on the watch. And I don't know. I think you and I have things to talk over.
Very well. Hey, thanks for having our back there with the Eladrin. I gotta say, I was more uncomfortable with them, worried they were evil creatures in disguise rather than just elves. The elvish nature of them didn't really bother me. I was a little stressed out that they could be otherly beings that could attack us at any moment. But
yeah, I was curious which would actually make you more uncomfortable, elves or what they could have been.
Yeah, well, I might fear certain elves in the real world. I mean, even you are kind of an easy jumping in point. We've been taught that the Mooncrest elves are these albino, dark-haired devils that could cut our lives short at any moment. And you already don't have the kind of hair palette that has kind of struck fear into the minds of bird folk in the past. So, and frankly, you're rather amenable to interact with. So, but certainly the Eladrin don't have any physical features that kind of live in the horror stories of our kind or anything. So definitely the Fae terrors kind of was weighing on my mind more than those nature paleted beings.
It's funny you mentioned my hair because it's actually Fae inspired hair.
How do you mean?
I was born with a typical Mooncrest elf, horrifying dark hair, as you mentioned. But I came here with my family when my mother was coronated. And when we left, it changed soon after. We don't know why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if weird magics have been happening to Roulette, and this whole place seems to be full of illusion and transformation magic, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but certainly sounds unique.
I don't expect we'll be the same when we left as when we came. Speaking of which, how's flying?
Say it again.
How's flying?
How is flying? Flying's great. It's like the same as walking. It's just the most natural feeling in the world. And he just like his wings like very gently, not even violently with a forceful push to lurch him into the air. They just like slowly unfurl and waver a little bit, and he rises a couple inches off the ground. He's like, it almost like doesn't even feel like a unique sensation. It's as natural to me as breathing.
Jump. I would not know. I mean, it's interesting because it's both like a joy, right? But also tactically important and advantageous. Just like,
certainly. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest advantages martially the bird folk have is their mobility. I mean, we're good. Most of us are good spear fighters in the first place, but our mobility can't be matched by virtually any other creature.
Definitely no. That, I mean, it's no secret people have fought, but that's something we have to think about a lot when we're interacting as we have in the past.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much experience. I was way younger in my early teens or so, when the last like moon elf birdfolk skirmish took place 7 years ago or so. I've never really thought about that actually. You guys must be pretty adept at moving quickly on your feet if you've been able to keep up or evade our military as well as you guys have.
Probably, yeah, I think so.
It's weird to talk about this kind of.
I know it's like with our decision to what we have to go do between the lycanthropes and the Eledrin. It's very, I don't know. I feel like we're very pulled in different directions, but it doesn't like have to be that way always.
I agree. I mean, it's probably oversimplifying the issue, but if everyone in my culture and everyone in your culture could talk like you and me, I mean, I don't think there'd be any issues.
Well,
I
it
wonder
certainly
if things will
helps.
change when we go home.
I just think you're particularly interesting, and I think that my people will be curious about you. And I want to like tap his ear. I mean, you're special to your people, but I think you would be interesting to mine as well. So if there's a chance to bridge any damage that's been done, you might bear some part of that.
Well, I'll certainly try and compose myself with respect wherever I can. I don't have as much animosity towards your people as many in my culture do. I've never participated in a battle against your kind. I haven't personally suffered the damage from conflicts of the past, but I also can't let my culture's history out of my mind. But I'll certainly, I can promise I won't cause problems there, or at least try not to. Hopefully they'll be amenable to my occupying your cities.
I think so. All right, now let's get to it. Show me how to fly.
All right. Well, first of all, it's a pretty easy thing to learn. You just got to have wings. So as soon as you can get those, then we're in business. And then he'll kind of beat his wings a little bit and take off into the sky. Not sky, but 5 feet into the air, kind of looking down at you, kind of confidently, realizing that this is a part of his personality traits or competencies that you find appealing, and he kind of soaks that up and feels pride in it. Whereas otherwise, he probably hasn't gotten that indication from anyone in his culture. It's just as natural as walking. So one thing I keep in mind when I fly is you don't have to just beat your wings hard to fly fast necessarily. Control is as important as force. Like, watch this. And he keeps his wings out to the side, and they just like shift ever so slightly, and he very adeptly and competently moves his body 5 feet to the side and 5 feet to the other side and up. And he has very tactile and precise control of where his body is located, even with the slightest wing movements. Like, he's using every feather in the most efficient way to reduce energy and movement and still achieve motion. I just kind of think of it as like, I let the air push me, and if I can just alter my wings in the most slight movements, I let the space around me shift my momentum. I usually don't have to do even a lot of work when I'm flying. Sometimes if I'm, sprinting or trying to cover long distances very fast, that's another issue entirely. But when I'm just like trying to control myself in a space, I find the more control you can kind of exert on your surroundings is rather efficient.
Could you help me up?
Sure. And he will come in and kind of put his arm around your torso under some of your armor, and you're a little heavier than Jiri, but and he will pick you up, and he is kind of holding you aloft 5-10 feet into the air.
All right, hang on. Just grab forearms for a moment. And I want to.
Okay.
Can you go like 5 feet just in case I fall?
Sure. Yeah.
I've never been off the ground before. All right, I can do this. Ooh. But I want to try to lift my own body with my telekinetic movement and
Okay,
like
so you
holding
kind
on
of,
to him.
Yeah. So
But,
I'll say
like, try to get some weight.
Yeah. So I'll say you use your telekinetic movement to, at first you almost try and lift yourself, but you're not really anchored against anything, and you quickly consider reaching down to the ground below you and pushing, and you can feel the force and the resistance of as you push against the ground. Similarly, how you anchor yourself to the ground when you're lifting other people or aid yourself in various movements, you've learned how to use telekinetics to propel your body when you run. Sometimes it spends more energy than an extra little speed is worth sometimes, but you can feel the kind of textured, tangible force between you and the ground as you emphasize your will to that space. And he feels you get lighter. Whoa, I don't know what you're doing, but you are like having to work a lot less hard. And you see his wings slow as he's having to beat them less hard as you're pushing on the ground and giving yourself buoyancy.
All right, get above the trees for a sec. I want to see these stars before we go back down.
Okay. And he will beat his wings and kind of soar and pull you through the canopy. And you guys eventually breach the canopy, and you see the ever-present twilight of this space, the sun far to the west, and you see it's difficult, but over toward the eastern side of the sky, where it is darker hues of violet and indigo, you do see glints of starlight in the distance.
Just like take it in for a minute. All right, it's beautiful and also more nauseating to be up here than I would have thought. But let's go back down now.
Okay, sounds good. And then he will, before he descends, he kind of keeps you held aloft and just kind of looks off in the distance of the stars. And he has his own kind of moment of just taking in the beauty of this space. And sorry, we'll get us down now. And he helps you descend to the forest floor.
Oh, he always wanted to try that.
Yeah, I've seen you use some powers to move stuff around, and when you're seemingly reaching your mind out to the ground, I mean, that definitely made an impact. I had to work less hard. I wonder if you can figure out how to propel yourself by using your surroundings.
I've never had a teacher who could, but the ancient Crescent Knights, before they disappeared, could fly.
Crescent Knight, is that what you are?
Well, Crescent Knight of the Mooncrest, which is the kind of order that uses the psionic energy that I use.
Huh.
A friend of mine, he always, that was the thing he most wanted. Of all the powers that we hoped to have, flight was the one he was most excited for. So, thank you.
Yeah. What was his name?
Doran.
Doran. All right.
Go back to camp now.
Sounds good. And he'll set you down, and you guys are free to make way back to camp. And you'll notice that as you guys kind of conclude your conversating, he'll go back to his area, but he doesn't go back to sleep. He just kind of allows himself to have kind of meditative quiet before the rest of the party wakes up. But unless there's anything else, the rest of you guys' long rest completes. You guys can officially trigger a long rest. And recover any charges that recharge at dawn, refill your hit points, etc. And it is the next time period of existence that you feel well rested in. Who knows if it's midnight or morning or noon, in this strange space of time, but you guys are free to get up and gear up. And are you setting out in a specific direction?
I just want to say that when I'm taking my rests, I like root into the ground and grow new foliage around me. So when I get up, I like leave that behind.
Very cool.
Okay.
Kind of almost like leaves drying a little bit and flaking off you over the course of your rest, but new ones growing around you, kind of literally refreshing your form. Very cool. Well, you guys are all awake and available to do whatever you like.
How are y'all feeling today?
Pretty good, Telperion.
Same here. Ready to go after
Let's get
creatures?
going.
All right,
Yeah.
let's find our way home and get this task taken care of.
Is it a day's journey south?
Yeah, they said about a day. I wonder if we travel quickly, if we could make that less time, but
We could also go visit our recent battle, and I could try and glean some information from the slain. See if we can learn anything of their hideout, of their forces.
How far was that from here?
based on this location, you expect no more than probably 20 minutes south.
Oh, and the way we came, or need to go.
Yeah, the way you came. Yeah. Or, well, you had continued up from that space almost an hour northward to Kaer Methrandine, and then you had come back down 30 minutes or so to rest away from Kaer Methrandine. So it's just another 30 minutes south of you guys, you expect. And you would be able to have some version of reliability getting back there since you've traversed these woods.
Toby, I think that's a really good idea. 'Cause we don't
What would we be
know.
looking for? Haven't we, didn't we already check those bodies?
No, Jerry, I can ask them questions. Yeah.
What would you ask them?
Does your hideout have any traps? How many people are at your hideout?
What if they lie to you?
They can do that, but I think we'll be able to tell.
What do y'all think? Is it worth the time?
Yeah, let's go talk to the dead people.
All right.
Very well.
So you said it's 20 minutes south of where we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have to go southwest to get to this place?
Southeast in
Oh,
general
southeast.
is the
Okay.
direction indicated of, yeah. And I will move you guys to here. As you, no check required, you guys are able to make your way back toward the site of the conflict. Notably, some of the spider newts in this vicinity have been not picked clean, but picked at thoroughly by creatures of the forest. Their carcasses have clearly been eaten a bit. The dire troll is just rotting rather quickly, but very clearly wildlife has not eagerly eaten from the flesh of that creature. And there are various slain lycanthrope creatures.
All right, Toby, pick one.
Well, what sort of questions do we want to ask? Was there a leader among this group that maybe
Yes,
I should
this one.
ask? Okay.
'Cause I killed him.
What's their goal? Let's try to figure out if they're evil.
Who would they harm? like in the course of pursuing their goal, because I think that tells us a lot about what kind of people they are. That impacts how we should feel about how we are dealing with them.
Maybe also what is their relationship with the Eladrin?
You get 3 or 5.
I get 5.
What are we at right now? 4?
Motivation, how they
What's
would.
their secret password?
To what?
Why do they want the creatures? Do the creatures initially belong to them? Why do they want them?
Where are their people from? Where are they settled?
Chris, is there pools of blood still?
Probably drying slowly. It's not like you put your hand in it and you're coming up with a brand new crimson wet blood. However, with the kind of moist, damp ground, it's not drying quickly. So it is probably you know smudgeable. It's soaking into the ground quite a bit though. But there is blood that exists.
Yeah. The little Moby that follows me around is like noticeably like inspecting the blood.
I thought you were gonna say he was like licking it up or something.
No.
Is
Just
there
kind of
also, like, a
hovering
hideout
over it.
structure?
Yeah, hovering over it. Mm-hmm.
Is there a hideout or a structure around here, you said?
The elves indicated that there was an old abandoned chapel of Oberon. And Oberon is rumoredly an archfey that has not been seen in this place for some time. But an old abandoned chapel that could be used as shelter if the Selenixians thought to use it. That was just a suggestion for where to look.
But it's not necessary. This chapel is not in this area. It's in a different area.
Not in this area. They indicated that was like a day's journey
Got
east
it,
of
okay.
here.
That's what we're
A
gonna
little
go
south,
after
a
this.
little east. Yeah.
All right, Toby, are you feeling
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. So I will go over towards. I think it was the werebear. Was
The werebear, based on Telperian's indications, the werebear had been called Uric, and the kind of general respect being given them by their party indicated that to be the leader.
okay. So I will go over. I will light my candle to make it pitch black around me and this creature. And I will cast Speak with Dead.
Very cool. What does it look like when you're, I mean, I guess the other party's not seeing this, but what do you do when you cast this spell for the first time?
I cast this already when we were on our way to Durmorin. Before we got to him, we came across the slain.
That's right. You asked, that's true. You
Core
asked
members.
about the Dragloth. Yep.
But it is a conjuring of mist and sending it into the creature's mouth, and it kind of allows, and then it kind of like fills their body, raising them to standing. And
Yeah, as you send the mist in, it kind of perfuses through their porises or their mouth, their eyes, their nose, and kind of you feel the buoyancy of it kind of lift and prop them up a little bit, and fill their lungs for speech.
I'm staying a little back from this. I want to hear, but I don't want to like be in line of sight.
Well, you definitely are not in line of sight, as he is surrounded by a globe of magical darkness as he has cast his or used his anti-light candle.
Uric, why were you hunting this troll?
Escaped. It was our last great capture in these woods.
The Eladrin arrived here shortly to dispose of it. What is your relationship with them?
history with our leader. They seek to prevent our goals. They stole from us a young Zaratan.
The young invaders? I don't know.
The elves are moving in on your leader's location. How can we arrive there and warn them of this?
Yes, it does have treasure.
Rush east across the Great River and make way to the Chapel of Oberon.
This goal you speak of and your great captures, what does it entail?
Is this question 4?
I believe so.
We have a contact in the shining city of Astrasalian. We escort our creatures there.
It looks like there were 6 of you here. How many more are the elves to expect at the chapel?
Depending on Scout Survey Corps, perhaps 2 dozen.
And the last bit of mist escapes, and the body falls limp again. And I'll snuff out my candle.
And were the others able to hear those responses, or is that something only you hear?
Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The spell, it doesn't say anything about only you. It just says you ask it questions and it responds.
Okay, and I wonder if different DMs I've seen probably do this different ways based on judgment, but I'm going to say this is audible to all of you. This is just actual conversation taking place magically.
Jiri
provided.
takes note of the characters, of this werebear's voice in particular. He's like listening to like the tone and inflection and how he says stuff.
Nice.
Wow. Very.
Oh, that's such a cool combo.
Very fucking cool. Okay.
3rd level spell checked off.
Jiri, is there any time duration you need to have heard a creature speak? Do you need to have heard it speak for 10 minutes, 1 minute, an hour? Is there any language like that?
Let me check. I don't recall.
Because it may affect how reliably you're able to gather this information.
That was my first guess.
1 minute.
I will say this was a minute or more, so you have successfully you think you've got some of the vocal cadences and little almost voice mannerisms, if you will.
Ooh, so close.
Oh, we got some directions.
East across the Great River.
Should we start heading east as we kind of discussed? So it will make progress. South and east, I suppose. Well, as we're walking, if we're walking, I just want to like pose a question. So we need to decide where we land here. We don't know very much about the lycanthropes.
Well,
I feel like no one has an honest motivation by capturing these creatures, but I don't understand what they're doing with them. I feel uneasy.
It is interesting. I think we should not assume that we will find concrete answers, especially in this strange land, but at a glance it sounded to me like they were capturing creatures and trafficking them. It doesn't sound that great. I don't know that the Eladrin are, being morally upstanding by trying to stop them, or if they have their own motives, but nothing about what he said indicated to me that they're trying to save the wildlife of this area. It seems like they're trying to exploit them.
And did the Eldrin said they want them just because they're beautiful and they just collect them? Does anyone recall?
Based on your memory, the Eladrin were kind of indicating that these woods are their home. How dare those trappers take them away, and the beauty of the woods should remain in this location, not be stolen away.
Well, there's that, but then there's also people willing to buy these creatures. So it sounds like there's a buyer in this city, Astrazalian, who would be the real culprit here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good call, Rome.
But that's probably really far away, right?
Yeah, do we know anything about Astrazalian? I mean,
Telperion, give me a history check. Rome, give me a history check with disadvantage.
17.
Okay.
Oh.
13.
Rome, you both basically get the same information and based on different experiences and memories, but you both kind of recall that Telperion, you were probably taught this at some point, and maybe in your youth it was mentioned in a study or a class at some point. In Rome, you think you're starting to piece together bits of memory that Astrazalian is regarded as the largest city in all of the Feywild. It is the most gleaming, beautiful. It's often referred to as the Emerald Starlit City. It is just a gargantuan civilization that is in the center of the Feywild.
Do I think that the leaders of the winter or summer court live there?
You would think that they both absolutely have presence there.
Okay.
Even if Titania and the Queen of Air and Darkness don't have specifically known like residences or like abodes that they reliably keep, they're kind of more godly than living somewhere, quote unquote. But they absolutely both have heavy presence there.
All right. Well, I'll share with Rome that it's the capital. The biggest city in the Feywild. So anyone could be buying creatures there.
I guess you could also assume that they're not all Fey there. I mean, we're not, like, we're from the material plane, or like you guys are at least. But
you're probably Fey in some regard, aren't you, Rome?
I don't really remember much of my history.
I wouldn't say you're human, so. Kinsala's point last night made me concerned. I do agree that I don't like how anti-lycanthrope the Eladrin are, but also, at least in regards to the creatures, they would rather than be in the natural environment, instead of taken and sold somewhere. So they have that point of the high ground, moral high ground at least.
Yeah. I think we should talk to them, right? Like Kinsalo said, maybe we just hear them out and see what they have to say, and then judge. If they're being evil, we can beat them up. And if they put one finger on my tabby, even if they're good, I'm gonna beat them up because they're wolves.
The Tabby protection
I agree,
program.
Jiri. Not specifically about the Tabby, but I do agree that, like, I was raising concerns with killing people that may or may not be good, people that look like friends of mine I've interacted with in the past in Chimeras. But the Birdfolk have also scouted the eastern woods toward the Shars, and there's a lot of bandit and nasty activity in those places. So again, yeah, judging them based on their actions, I'm fully game with, as long as we're not indiscriminately killing for no reason just because they're in our way.
Okay, game plan. 2 people go in, talk to them, and everybody else surrounds. And if they're evil, we pounce.
Oh, and we're walking as we're making this plan, right? I think we've been walking.
Absolutely. And you guys have been walking, and I'll say whoever's leading can make a survival or nature check based on how you're hoping to proceed through the woods.
I want to try and be leading us east, and we had an idea of about a day. So later into it, I'm going to start looking for signs of a river being present in the surrounding ecosystem.
Sure.
Can I help?
Go ahead and give me a...
well?
Yeah, absolutely. With your knowledge of almost, it's not even based on memory. You just have like an innate understanding of these woods in a way, and your help is definitely valuable. So yes, with Rome's help, Toby Rama, go ahead and roll with advantage. Or you could each both roll if you prefer.
Let's do that.
Perfect. So Toby Rama, I'll say you're able to, in general, get a sense of, oh, there's tracks leading in this direction, let's not go there, or in terms of like wildlife tracks that are clawed, and like kind of base level terrain navigation. However, with Rome's help, she's able to help you indicate that, oh, moss is growing on this side of this tree, there must be moisture flow from that direction, and kind of higher level understanding of nature guides her in a way that helps your all of your progression in the woods. And you move very successfully over a couple hours. I'm going to ask for both of you, since you guys are leading the survival, you eventually get to a location where over the past couple minutes, you've heard like an increased white noise up ahead that just seems like the sound of moving water off in the distance. And you guys are welcome to keep pursuing that, although as you move forward in that direction, maybe 6 hours have gone by right now, and I would like the two of you to give me a perception check. So Rome, you are pretty locked into, I'll say, the flora of this place, looking at the wildlife of shrubbery and tree life, and getting kind of terrain indicators based on that, and don't notice the thing that Toby Rama notices. And actually, I need to roll a thing. Toby Rama, you notice it. You don't notice the first bit of movement. But as you walk forward, you hear a noise from behind your group. And as you turn around, indicating some like rustling of, it almost sounds like the creaking of tree bark for a moment. And as you turn, you see one of the trees behind you. The bark on it seems to like split and start to vibrate. And then you see this phenomenon occur on several other trees. Go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
Mm-hmm.
You see 5 locations of this phenomenon occur, and as these wings that have been camouflaged to look like bark begin to alight and buzz and flap. Enormous mosquito-like creatures peel off their trees and start to flitter and get around you all. They kind of start to vibrate their wings and take flight and are slowly moving in your all direction. What do you guys do?
We got some predators on us. Fucking creepy looking things.
They're maybe 30 feet back and they're moving towards you guys.
Should I blast them all? Ooh, why don't we all blast them?
Right at once.
Hey, before we kill them, is there a way to get them to go away without killing them?
Oh yeah, we gotta talk to things before we kill them.
I can only kill. I can't really persuade them.
They are moving
say
closer,
hi.
and you see their curved stingers on the end of their abdomens as they gain closer. They're probably 20 feet from you at this point. You could engage or choose to flee, whatever you guys wish to do.
Yikes, they don't look like the talking type. They look like the singing type.
Jerry, shall we?
Shall we? Shall we?
I don't want them to get the jump on us and these
Alright,
seem
let's-
predatory creatures.
Sliver and sword in one hand. I wind up my sliver.
How fast
You
do
can
these
just
things
run
move?
away.
Can we just?
They're
why don't we
moving
just
towards
run?
you rapidly.
Yeah, I don't think that there's getting away here. I think we just have to fight them.
You think so? I mean, if we started running like maybe like 10 seconds ago, we probably could have escaped.
We
yeah,
keep
but you
talking,
keep
maybe we
talking,
could
so
then
we should just prepare.
I throw a sliver.
Okay, so
Yes.
as you try and throw Sliver, they are certainly not surprised, so you don't get that off before they do a thing, but let's all roll initiative here.
You killed me. Maybe if we had not talked for 10 more seconds.
Oh, and by the way,
I'm
since we were
going to-
walking for so long, I would have had Roulette write down, start like a dream journal in her notes somewhere. So I'm sure we would have had time to like jot down just like
Yeah.
my dream.
Yeah, definitely.
Love the
I'm
idea of
gonna
Jerry
move
keeping a dream journal now.
you guys.
Jerry, give me that. Let me see.
Oh, I have to select it.
You can look, but don't tell anybody my secret dreams.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna read your mind later anyway. So I think it's just good that I just
That
get
might be
all
a
of the
good
info.
thing because then you can see what I see. See if there's any details I missed.
Very nervous for that, but you're right. I like the idea that we're having this conversation as the bugs are getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are definitely moving towards you, and you guys are definitely continuing to
And the
bicker
journal
amongst
here,
yourself
and
or
I'm throwing
whatever.
a sliver.
And these guys will be there. I need to make them visible, and I will move you to this map. One moment. Okay. You guys can kind of quickly orient yourselves the way you think you were standing.
Our initiative is
oh.
gone.
How's it?
Roll
No, don't re-roll it. I have the initiative turn order up in front of me. I don't know why changing screens would have done that. Do you want to refresh your screens?
I see the big block that says turn
see.
order.
IT just asked us if we tried restarting our laptops.
Settings, descending, remove all turns, add. I don't know how I can like re-trigger it.
Or fair.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yuri, how did we get through this fight without expending any resources?
Stab things.
I guess the swords don't get tired.
Okay, I'm just gonna re-add you guys one by one to the turn order, even though this is a little strange.
Yuri, I think you should just go all out in this one. Just use everything you've got.
I could probably just sit here and not do anything, and you could take care of these.
I don't recommend you try that.
I'm gonna watch. You go first.
I've already had Roulette write your journal for you, and now you want me to fight your fight.
Okay, I'm gonna roll once for them, and then we'll get all the rest of this shit figured out.
Hell yeah.
Pretty.
Jerry, I know.
Pretty
Jerry,
low on
give
the
Toby
turn.
your sword. That way, at least your sword's in the fight.
Oh, Toby's not a sword type of person. Now, Elfie's a sword type of person.
Roulette, can we give Elfie a sword?
Okay. Can you guys shout out your initiatives? What did Roulette get?
21.
Thank you, Jiri.
7.
Thank you. Rome.
20.
Thank you. Telperion.
13.
Thank you. Toby.
21.
All right. Toby and Roulette. Toby's dex is faster, I believe.
14.
For then. All right. I think everyone seeing the tracker at this point now?
Wait. Toby, what's your dex?
14.
That's what mine is.
Oh shit! I for some reason thought yours was 12. Do you guys want to roll these?
Rollies.
The best moment in any D&D session.
20.
Wow.
Roulette goes first.
How big are these things?
Their wingspans are easily 10 feet wide when they're flapping them, but as a creature size, they're considered medium. Their bodies, abdomens are probably 5 feet long or so, and you definitely see a nasty stinger peeking out from the back of them. And as Roulette, as you start your turn, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Sure.
Huh? With a 9, you hear the drone from these multiple sources of these strange wings beating, and it's like a high frequency buzz that is blocking your mind from being able to quickly make decisions. You are considered stunned until the start of your next turn. Alfie is Alfie immune to stun?
I am looking at it right now.
This
I
feels
don't know
like
if
D&D
he's-
hard mode.
I don't know if he is immune to this effect, if he like can't hear or can't be stunned, something like that. Okay, if that's his role, he is also like the frequency of it is like interfering with his like protocols, and he is also considered stunned. And I think a stunned creature, there's still technically things you can do, but it's extremely limited.
I don't think there is any.
Breathe.
No, I'm incapacitated.
Oh, you're incapacitated, can't move,
Yeah.
can speak only falteringly. So you can technically get a word or two out, but you are kind of locked in place, almost paralyzingly so, as this sensation is just rooting into your ear.
So do you pass?
Yes, that's my turn.
Toby Rama, please make a wisdom saving throw.
Holy shit!
You are also
I
stunned
am going to, before you say whether it was a success or a
Okay.
failure, I'm going to use my D12 Bardic Inspiration.
Do you always
Okay.
remember that you have 1 luck point per your medallion every day?
I don't always remember, but I'm going to spend the D12 rather than the D20.
That's pretty good.
18.
with you feel this sensation of this high frequency drone start to addle your mind, but you push past it and you successfully have your turn.
Okay, good, because I...
Now that you have also acclimated to this this horrifying sound, you are now immune to this saving throw in the future.
Very cool. Child person command comprehend languages. None of those are going to help me out in this. So I will do what I was planning on doing. And I will wave my staff around with the Forsaken's medallion on it and cast Flying Arrow right about there.
Right about here.
Right about there. And attack that little boy right there.
Do you have a luck point?
This is your bonus action. You're absolutely able to attack. Go for it. Roll.
We're not gonna-
It's just D20 plus 8. Sick.
Yeah, absolutely. It misses. Your arrow soars through the air, forming out of mist and coalescing into like a tangible object crystallized from the translucent silver mist. And it tries to gut the thing, but its movement is rather quick. It quickly jumps out of the way with its unique movement.
With that not comboing exactly the way I wanted, I will then use my action to toll the dead on the one I was going for. So it needs to make a wisdom save. And that is a success.
It succeeds. For whatever reason, maybe the lack of its wound, you were expecting there to be a wound, and because there isn't, it's harder to affect its body.
And I will
necrotic energy.
Walk back behind Jerry.
Okay. Rome, please make a wisdom saving throw.
23.
Oh, you're so good at these.
Am I?
You are almost locked into the state of stun paralysis, and you barely find the composure to enact your will on your turn.
Oh, barely by 1 or by 0?
By exactly, barely.
Okay, so I'm going to then I can cast, right? I'm gonna cast.
Yep, you have your turn available.
Okay, I'm gonna
Entangle.
cast Entangle.
Okay.
On them. So just give me a moment to draw.
Strength save.
Oh yeah, so it's a strength save on their part.
Ooh, very cool.
Okay. And it's a 20 by 20. And I'm going to say, because I did not specify, this is maybe a little lucky in your favor, that as they peeled off their trees, they are within the 5 feet of low to the ground enough that you think you can have vines lurch up and try and grab them. Otherwise, they might be able to fly high enough where this might not affect them. I don't know how Entangle works in the air. But regardless, I think, yeah, with a rotated block, you can definitely affect an area that will trigger them all. So I'll go counterclockwise, starting with the top right one. Fail. 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 Wow.
Yes.
That's
Fail.
a fail, right?
One
Yeah,
more.
16. That one.
One of them is able to. One of your vines kind of grips its leg, but it pulls free of it. But the others are all entangled. What does this look like as Rome does this?
So I imagine that like vines from that, or vines coming from me, like jump towards that area and grow up out of the ground and grasp them, from the air.
Very cool.
And what
Very cool.
focus do you use for this? You have 2 of them, right?
I use my cloak.
Okay, very cool. So kind of with the brandishing of your cloak and your form, this magical natural magic just conjures forward and from you and the ground and pulls all those things to the ground, restraining them.
Does your cloak even look like cloth, or does it look like flowers?
It's like made of natural material, like just like moss and plants and things like that.
Sweet.
Very cool.
And then
all right,
bonus
that's Rome's action. Okay, so as just a reminder, you may have to like break line of sight or find some way of at least lightly obscuring yourself to be able to hide.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to move.
Probably.
Okay, I will move.
There's various tree cover around here, so you can probably do that pretty easily. You just
yeah, I'm gonna move right here in this tree right here.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead and give me a stealth roll.
I can hear someone's music through Zoom.
Oh, it's mine. I gotta mute when it's.
Well, I think it's when you guys are talking, the mic starts to try and amplify what it's picking up. So it's just a kind of a casualty of the situation. With a 13, I am curious. Okay, as you camouflage yourself into the surrounding brush, you don't think any of the mosquito mammoths have noticed your movement.
Oh, that's what they're called. Oh.
Mosquito bandit.
Mammoth.
Oh, mammoth.
This isn't
but
Avatar.
perfect.
You
Will
can't just
that be
put
it for
2
Rome?
creatures
Yeah, that's
together.
That's
It's a
it.
badger mole. Kinsalo will go next. All right, you guys focus on the ones that are trapped. I'll go for the other one. and he immediately takes to wing and soars over here and is going to make 2 of his attacks.
That's right.
Did I do that? Oh yeah, I did give him that. Crazy. Okay. Attack 1, hit. Attack 2. Attack 2 just misses. But because he hit with his pole arm, he will use a bonus action to hit one more, try to make one more attack.
Lore Master.
Damn.
But misses. He strikes on the first one, and the mosquito mammoth will actually use its reaction to uncanny dodge, having the damage of that first one.
These are
And so as he almost he barely hits that first one, and it kind of glides out of his range, and then his other 2 strikes are sadly futile. But that is Kinsalo's turn. These things are harder to hit than I thought. Maybe focus down the ones trapped. And that will complete his turn. Telperion.
I have a question about angles. If I was standing right here, is there any way to get 3 in a row?
I think in general, this is going to come down to some DM judgment case by case. I might occasionally give something advantage if it's like not fully in line or something, but maybe I'll subject it to at least part of the effect. And I think I've handled it that way in the past. So it kind of depends on what is Telperion doing, and then we'll try and figure out what happens.
I'm gonna let that quiver I gotten ready drop, and then so I got my sword in one hand, and I got my I'm gonna free interaction grab my javelin. I'm gonna lightning these.
The javelin of lightning.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to essentially aim for this one.
Through these 3, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give 2 of those are definitely in line. I'm gonna give this one advantage on its save, just since it's not fully in line.
Am I at advantage on my attack roll because they're restrained?
Yes, you absolutely are. And based on the condition of restrained, it has disadvantage on dex saves. So this one's just going to have a straight roll. The other 2 will have disadvantage. So go ahead and roll your attack roll with advantage, and then I will figure out the one closest to you first.
$18 plus 7 is 25 to hit.
With disadvantage, it is a fail, and then the one further from you actually pretty good, and then the one that's not really in line gets a straight roll. So 2 of them save and are going to take less damage, but at least the one, what was the roll with advantage?
25 to hit.
25 to hit absolutely hits. That one is going to use its reaction to uncanny dodge and try and have the damage from whatever's happening here. It won't be able to dodge the lightning damage, but
8 plus 6
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so go ahead and roll yours.
So 14 lightning damage to everybody, but then you do what you want with that.
Yep. 14. It's gonna dodge. You absolutely. The one closest to you failed. So that one takes the true. Did you say 14?
Yeah.
So
40 lightning damage to all 3.
7. That one takes 7. Got it. Some of those are able to get out of the way of some of the lightning damage, but let's see how good the strike was.
And then the strike is a 4 plus 4, so 8. Hitting the last one.
Perfect. All right. You definitely wounded the one right near you, and the one that it impacted pretty heavily. One of them got out of the way. It's kind of writhing in restraining entanglement, but still able to kind of buzz its wings further away.
And with my second attack, I'll step in and swing with my greatsword.
Okay. Perfect.
So at advantage.
Yes.
6 plus 7 is 4.
Oh man.
13.
Not enough. Maybe even the vines are too densely wrapped around that one, and you're just not able to wound that creature.
Okay. Roll a 6 and a 2. I will not waste a good bonus action, but I'll just pull. I'm not going to do anything. I'll pull Alfie closer. No, I'll pull Roulette closer. She wants to be. Well, do you want to get closer by 5 feet?
I automatically fail this saving throw.
So you come closer to me by 5.
perfect.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll be closer on your next one. That's my turn.
Okay. It is the mosquitoes' turns. I am not sure if they're going to try and get. Well, I guess some of them have easy decisions to make. I'm going to make this one try and escape from its restraints.
That entangles bomb.
In Rome, on Entangle, it's a strength save initially. Can they choose strength or dex to try and escape it?
No, it just says strength.
Okay.
It says they can use its action to make a strength check against the spell save DC.
Okay, so it is pure strength. They don't get to use their
Can I?
high.
I want to yell
dex.
something after as my turn was happening.
Sure.
Jerry, this javelin's fucking amazing.
Yeah, anything with
Perfect.
lightning is automatically amazing. I agree.
Okay, so I don't think 12 beats your DC, so this one remains restrained and continues to not be able to move.
Excellent.
I will do this one next.
Fuck
Nope.
yes.
I will do this one next. 16, is that enough?
Yeah. Yep.
So that one breaks free and immediately tries. It's still difficult terrain, but since it can fly, it's not really hindered by the difficult terrain, and it's going to rush up here to try and attack Telperion, the nearest thing to it.
It's got to use its action to escape, right?
Oh, that's
right,
true,
yeah,
and
it
it does
used its
not have
action.
the ability. So it goes up toward Telperion, but it does
Dude,
not.
oh.
Oh, you know what? I fucked up. Please succeed, so I don't need to redo shit.
Oh.
Well, Kinsalo really shouldn't have attacked that thing at all, but he had such weak attacks. I'm not going to retroactively change things, but I'm going to say he's now stunned as the situation kind of addles his mind. My apologies.
Join that team. I'm rolling.
Mess up there. Yeah, did I not have you roll either? Fuck. I really fucked that up.
It's early. It's
Yes,
early. We're
please.
getting into it.
Oh, 18.
Okay, thank God. So you push past the sensation and were able to have your turn successfully. This mosquito flies up towards you, but is not able to attack yet. And then the one nearest you, because you impacted it with lightning, it's in an enraged state. It's just going to try and attack you and not break its restraint. So it is going to try and make a stinger attack at you with disadvantage.
That's right.
Virtually 0% chance this works. Yeah.
It puts its stinger into my metal gauntlet.
Yes, it sure does. And as it pulls away, its stinger is still lodged in there as it needs to recharge and regrow. So that thing was not able to do that. Then this one is able to attack Kinsalo with its stinger at advantage because
Yep.
stunned.
That is a very valid trade-off.
With a 22, absolutely hits Kinsalo for 8 piercing damage, and then I need Kinsalo to make con save. And he fails that,
Damn.
taking some poison damage and becoming poisoned.
What is poison? Just disadvantage on checks?
Oops, not that guy.
Something like that.
Yeah, I will pull it up in 2 seconds. So he is stunned and poisoned at this time. And that is that creature's turn. That is it for the mosquitoes. Jiri, you are up.
Wisdom save.
Do it.
Wisdom save.
Oh my god, imagine being the last and then failing your whiz save.
And
Why would you say it like
we
that?
do.
Mosquito guys, I need to talk to you for a second here. Before, can you guys stop buzzing? I wanted to make sure if you're evil or not.
And Jiri wastes his turn just like trying to talk to them.
Jerry, I told you not to sit this one out.
You got it, Telperion.
It's like a faulty phone call. It's like stuttering as like you're trying to get words out.
And with that being Jiri's turn, Roulette, I'd like you to make a wisdom save now with advantage since you have heard the drone and you have a better chance at acclimating to it.
Yes.
And with that, you are able to push past this frustrating sensation.
Let's go.
Oh, very cool. That's both your flail attacks, I imagine.
No, that was a wisdom save for Alfie.
Oh, got it. Perfect. Both of you guys shake off the stun effect for sure.
Yeah.
You guys both rolled a 3 on the second d20.
Yeah. Bonus action, casting arcane weapon, lightning, crackling up and down my flail, running over towards Kinsalo. I'm gonna take 2 swings at the guy that's harassing Kinsalo.
You are welcome to go ahead and roll your attacks.
First one.
Come on, Big Red.
Oh,
26.
First one absolutely hits.
almost a 4.
That roll scared me.
And then there's 1d6 on top of that. 6 bludgeoning, 3 lightning.
And that's that one, which has been injured at least a tiny bit by Kinsalo's first strike. So this one takes a total of 9 additional damage.
Yeah.
Bro,
Okay,
I gotta get on
perfect.
this
It is-
lightning train.
As you smack this thing, you see it's one of its wings pop off. It's still able to maintain its flight since it has like 4 different wings, able to kind of adjust. However, as you hit it from this duration, Telperion wasn't able to see it previously because he impacted one a little further away from him. From 10 feet away, Kinsalo should have done this as well. I am not doing a great job of that. As you swing, you notice that there are like a dense mat of like fur-like spines along the bodies of these mosquitoes, and as you're swinging, you see Kinsalo in the corner of your eye has like a couple barbs in him, and as you impact this thing, you see like not a detonation, it's not an area of effect situation, but where your impact was, you see the spines kind of stand up like hairs on a feline, and like threaten to hurt melee damage dealers. You are safely far enough away from 5 feet that it doesn't hurt you, but it's just a phenomenon you see in this moment that did injure Kinsalo, but does not injure you. You definitely successfully deal that 9 points of damage.
Do
Gotcha.
you need to roll for Kinsalo's damage from that?
It's an automatic.
Gotcha. Cool.
Second swing, right at the same thing.
Dang!
God, what a journey these dice are taking.
Same roll.
That is that. Another roll.
A
Let's
smitey flail.
go.
I summoned me a smitey flail.
13
another-
bludgeoning and 2 lightning.
How do you kill this mosquito?
Nice.
Squish.
Squish.
Smitey smush.
You just immediately smash it to the ground, and you just hear like a classic spider-like squeal from it as it is
Ew.
crushed.
Do spiders squeal?
I
In
will,
fantasy genres, they do.
I will approach it and I will take a very quick look at the spines and I will shout out, keep your distance. Keep your distance. These things are going to hurt you if you're swinging up close.
Perfect.
And Alfie will just move up to here. No, Alfie was going to move directly in between Rome and Telperion.
Okay. Perfect.
That's my turn.
Toby Rama.
I don't think it will hinder me in any way this specific round. My flying arrow, could it do this, or is that not kosher? Because in my head I'm thinking it's like this immaterial thing, but
Oh yeah, it has a flying speed, so it's not encumbered by the entangle. I don't think, if that's what you're asking.
I'm more wondering
through another
about
creature's
moving
space.
through another creature's space is more what I'm wondering.
Oh, you're trying to get on the other side of that. Yeah, let's think about this for a second. It can benefit from, but not grant. It's intangible. I think we can stay with the fact that this is a somewhat magic, not fully physical object in a sense. So I would say it's probably fair that it can reach that spot.
Awesome. I will have it reach that spot then, this one right here. And I will have it attack. This is my bonus action as Toby.
Oh, I need to. I think if I give that a name. Oh, spirit arrow, spirit guardian. Oh, spiritual weapon. There we go. If I hit save, I think you should be able to move it.
Ah, look at that. Awesome.
I just hadn't done that yet.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I should be able to roll an advantage on this guy
That is
since
correct.
he's
It
restrained.
is still restrained. Yep.
Add 8 to this. That's 1. 22.
22 absolutely hits, and this one has been wounded.
How much damage? It's a D8 plus 4. So 8 damage.
8 damage, got it. You spear it in the middle of its thorax, and it looks very, very injured, but it is technically still alive.
And me, like, trying to massage the stunnedness out of Jiri, I'll poke my head around and Toll the Dead on that same mosquito man.
Okay.
Wisdom save 16. Fail!
It just fails, and describe how this creature withers and dies, because minimum damage will kill this thing.
I would say, like, because Toll the Dead is, like, an auditory thing, so I think, unless it has, like, eardrums that could spurt out blood or something, I think it just falls limp and falls to the ground, fully wrapped up in the vines.
Okay, perfect.
Guess I'll just die.
And it's dead. Guess I'll just die.
I'm just gonna roll it because I like rolling it. 4 damage on 2d12.
4 damage on 2d12. Nice. Still does kill it.
I'm gonna get in front of Jiri, kind of defensively.
Oh,
That's
he
my
makes him
turn.
fight his own battles.
Perfect. With that being Toby's turn,
Mhm.
Rome, you are up.
Right, I'm going.
You feel successfully hidden as a reminder.
That was supposed to happen the first turn, but I failed.
I'm going to use my base to focus the sunlight to produce a flame that I throw at this mosquito.
Perfect. You are able to do so with advantage from being unseen and it being restrained, so extra advantage. But go ahead and roll again.
Yoinks.
Wow.
Yeah, unfortunately, your flame this one seems to be, just as Telperian experience, a little more densely wrapped up in entanglement, and so your flame is just harmlessly hitting off your magically fire-resistant vines, unfortunately.
Am I seeing the crit success and the crit fail and the damage?
Yeah, it shows green when there's like, well, I guess
What
I
is the
don't realize what
blue?
it's doing because I don't know why it's doing a 3.
I just want to
Let's
make
see,
sure it was
it's
the
highlighting
d20 that got rolled because it's.
I'm confused. I rolled the thing. It says cast on.
Because 1d20 CS.
What is CS? Greater
I
than
don't know.
1 plus 8.
I'm just nervous that like it's a green 11, which is like the only reason it should be green is if you rolled a nat 20. So I feel like it's not the right
28.
die that got rolled.
Hmm.
Because they both.
Yeah,
had
it
crit.
looks like it almost looks like a conditioned statement of, hey, if this thing is above a number, then it's a success or something.
I think you gotta just re-roll it and roll 20 because I don't think that was a regular roll because both thought it was a crit. It rolled crit damage.
When you're clicking on your, I want to kind of,
Well, hold on. Can I listen to what he's saying? Well, what did you say, Chris?
I'm going to pull up your character real quick just to make sure that we're looking at the same thing. I imagine you're in your spells, produce flame. When you're looking at the words produce flame, are you clicking to the left of it where it says at will and it should pop up with a little dice icon? Because if you hit that, it will roll the whole attack. Yeah, that is the way that, like, I don't know if this is a difference that matters, but that is the way that Roll20 is, like, wants to see the interaction, basically.
Oh. Weird.
I think you can separately click on the 8 or 2d10 and the other things, but clicking that button to the left of the spell names is generally the way that works the most smoothly for attack rolls and such. However, with that attack, everything I said is moot because it's still rolling strangely. This interface is still
Right? It still looks weird. It's like the same thing.
1d20 CS. I don't know what's going on there.
4 plus 8. Yeah. Huh.
Oops.
Yeah, Mind Sliver is not necessarily good indication of this because it's not an attack.
I just
Yo, what
wanted
the
to click
fuck,
a
Mike?
spell. I was like, I
I'm
got a
kinda
spell I
like-
can click.
How many do you have? 3?
So I rolled it from Rome's character sheet and it worked. So I wonder if there's got to be like a formatting setting thing that we may need to troubleshoot on Rome's character sheet, which I would love to help with over the course of before next session.
Okay. Okay, I got 2 cantrips and 3 spells.
Oh.
But I do think it is successfully showing us, because in your second rolls, it showed a 14 and it showed an 8. So I think it is successfully doing it. It's just the interface formatting of the thing is weird. But I do think your original 9 and 11 are unfortunately the ruling case here.
Yeah, that's
so
fine. I don't know what I was doing. Well, I mean, I know what I was clicking on, but it's still doing the same. I don't know.
Well, this is indicating to me it's not anything you're doing that's the problem. It's some interaction between D&D Beyond and Roll20.
Got it.
Kind of being strange. But unfortunately, that Produce Flame misses. You have become visible once again, having cast a spell, but you've used your action. You still have your bonus action available.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide again.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth roll.
I was so excited for you to try and use Uncanny Dodge and me to be like, oh, but they have to see. I was like, she's hidden. But then it failed.
That is the case there. You feel fairly hidden. You don't think you are seen by them. I also am very interested in this vibe of Rome that I didn't necessarily was going to be like your gameplay, but it's very cool that you're like you're basically like a druidic rogue almost, like you're doing a thing and then you can camouflage as a bonus action, do a thing, camouflage. It's very cool.
I have to say that is a lot of credit to Tim for that, because he pushed me towards like being more stealthy, so he's got to get credit.
That's very cool. It just works perfectly with Rome as a character, so I just love that kind of mechanic has come out in game.
When are we gonna meet
perfect.
the
That is your
barbarian?
action. But yeah, that is your action, bonus action. That is Rome's turn. It will be Kinsalo. He will roll to try and break his stunnedness.
Is that correct? I thought he was
with
just
advantage.
I don't know.
And with advantage, he does break free from it, losing stun and immediately trying to fly over and attack this one. Although he is poisoned, so this is just a straight roll. First hit, miss. Second hit, hit. And because he hit, he can do his bonus action.
Woof.
Natty 20. This one had not been injured before, and it has been these creatures' turn. So this one will reaction Uncanny Dodge the crit, but he will still take 6 and half of 11. So Kinsalo does make it past some of the vines holding this thing in place and does carve through its form a little bit. It looks weaker than it previously did. Telperion.
All right. Gonna take my sword and try to plunge it down into the thing in front of me that's restrained. Rolling at advantage.
Perfect. You are able to, rolling at advantage. When you hit this thing, did you miss with your greatsword previously? I think you threw your javelin through it and you missed with your greatsword, I believe.
Probably. Yes, I rolled an 8.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, go ahead and roll.
14 plus 7 is 21.
21 absolutely hits, and as you strike into this thing, you see its spines like eject and like sprout up like a porcupine almost, and you automatically take 3 points of piercing damage.
Let's see if I can heal it with my sword. What's it gonna? I roll damage, right?
Yep.
All right. A D10. How hurt is this thing looking?
This one looks pretty wounded. I definitely would consider it bloodied, or the equivalent of bloodied for a insectoid creature. The one that had broken the restraints is looking much more healthy than the one you're about to carve into.
I'm gonna not psionic strike this one yet.
Okay.
But I want the damage. Whatever. It's looking bloody. I'll psionic strike it. I want to kill it.
Okay.
1. It rolled, say a 1. Okay, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 plus 7 is 21. 21 damage.
Total damage on this strike? Okay,
Yeah.
How do you kill this mosquito?
Oh, my sword goes into it and explodes in the vines from the psionic
Beautiful.
energy that was on my sword.
And And yeah, and I don't know if your magic is able to heal the spines, but you do definitely, in that moment, you definitely do feel that pierce of pain.
I rolled a 4 from the sword,
Perfect.
so I'll recover that. Use a
Perfect.
sword
Go ahead.
charge.
Kill that mosquito.
And then I will strafe away, because, well, yeah, strafe away. And I'll use...
it will definitely try and stinger you as you leave.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Can I not strafe? I knew I was going to do that. I'd rather take the brittle, or like the shards as opposed to a stinger. So I'll just turn to this thing and swipe at it with my sword again.
Okay, go for it.
Not at advantage. But a 14's a 14, so 21 to hit.
Definitely does hit. You take 3 points of piercing damage.
Not heal.
Oh, and Kinsalo had done damage, so he takes that again.
10.
He
Ooh,
had dealt
fuck yeah.
damage.
9, or so 5, 6, 7, 8. 13 damage to this thing.
Okay, it is wounded for sure. And it had been wounded previously, but not very much.
And then for my bonus action, I will push or pull. I'll just chill. Oh, I'll pull Roulette towards me again. She wants a little more movement. Sure. Roulette, get down and eat it. And then that's what I do.
Perfect. That is it for Telperion. We are back to the mosquito's turn. The one is going to, I think it's just going to try and attack Kinsalo, even having not broken its restraints yet. But it has that attack at disadvantage. Did that one use its stinger already? I think it already...
It needs to no. The one that used its stinger is the one that's dead to the right of it. I don't think this one's used its stinger.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But it still does have disadvantage. A 12 against Kinsalo will not do it. Tries to lurch out its stinger at it, but it can't break its restraints, and Kinsalo's able to easily back away. This one will do the same to Telperion. Ooh, 22 I think will hit. Go ahead and make a con. Okay, as you're plenty able to shield in the first place, but I also need you to make a Constitution save.
If I shield and save from all 6 damage, does it still get to do poison?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it gets... Yeah.
Sounds good. I shield from 6, 7, 8, 9 of it.
Okay. So make your con save.
Come on, Tel.
So don't let me forget the number 9. I rolled 12 plus 5, 17.
That is enough. You do not take any of the poison damage and are not poisoned, as you have successfully, effectively blocked the initial piercing with your telekinesis or shield, what have you, and otherwise preventing.
For this one, I put my hand up, and there's just like, it tries to like get in my hand, and there's just like a shield all around me.
Yeah, very cool. You're able to do that with your reaction. It has used its action. And I don't think it can do anything else. It could move, but I don't know that it knows to. Yep, Jiri's turn.
Am I unstunned?
Wisdom save with advantage.
That's what I'm talking about.
You do break through the stun effect.
All right, Jiri is gonna be, since he's taking this combat off, he's gonna come up to Toby from behind, like give him a little like pat on the back rub, and be like, "All right, Toby, you got this. You're gonna beat those mosquitoes with your next attack. I know you can do it." And I'm gonna try to like help him.
Okay, you can. Yeah, you can help his attack.
Yes.
Perfect. Help action.
Maybe I'll take my like
with
little
a bonus
water
action
bottle out and like give him like a little drink from behind, like, "Stay hydrated, Toby."
Okay. Perfect. You can definitely do so.
Get that one right over there.
Any bonus action or movement at all?
Nope. Stand right behind Toby. Massage the whole
Roulette, you are up.
Do I see that happening?
I'm gonna say you're kind of interlocked with. You maybe hear the conversation, but you're.
No, I don't know.
on.
I'm busy.
That's funny.
Just thinking, I can't wait for my friend Jerry to get here and help me with this.
I'm swinging at the one that's next to Gonzalo.
Perfect. You are about to step into that entanglement, so I'm either gonna want. I think I want to have you make a dex check to see how successful you are in evading its area.
Please hold.
Please wait while your conference call is being connected.
Waiting to connect. Above 10 is enough to not step in the area.
I will burn one of my flash of geniuses just to bring it to a 15.
Okay.
Having walked through the Feywild for 3 days now, I think I can avoid some weeds.
Yep, definitely. You successfully do so. The attack hits, so go ahead and roll damage. Is your arcane weapon still activated?
It is.
Perfect.
There's this. And
This one has taken bits of hits, but is not looking horrible yet. Although with
13.
a 13 and 1 with a 15,
that's
or
14.
14 total. How do you kill this thing?
Oh,
That was a good roll.
It was a max roll, wasn't it? D8 plus 5? Hell yeah.
the D8 was maxed. I'm just gonna aim for its wings, and just to have it fall to the ground.
Perfect. You entirely separate the wings from its abdomen as you bring the abdomen down very rapidly, and what's left is just the wings, just floating slowly, descending to the ground. That one is dead.
It's rough terrain though.
It is rough terrain. Yeah.
Oh, I only need to get to here though. No,
You can get to right here. Right,
That's
side.
ugly.
I can duck for you.
Go
I'm
flank
just gonna
Telperion
bonus-
and hit him.
I'm gonna bonus action have Alfie dump a charge. 3d3 plus 4, or 3d4 plus 3.
How do you kill this one?
No! I wanted it!
I want all the things to hit from the back and to no. Oh, I was gonna have it splatter on Telperion.
Listen, I have a psychic shield up. Leave me alone. Can that happen?
I want to hit it like 3 separate times in the air before it falls to the ground.
Perfect. Again, just detonating off its little thin, translucent wings that just like scatter into the air and then just slowly descend. And then Toby, for good measure, just stabs it on the ground with his arrow.
What was I saying? What
Perfect.
was the river at?
Yeah, you definitely all hear the sound of the river not too distantly to the east.
Psionic recovery. One side eye.
Man, good fight, everybody. We all
Yeah,
worked
good
pretty hard.
stuff. But whatever that thing got me with, it's making me not feel so good, guys.
Yeah, you here, come over here. Let me get you helped out. What do you did you get hurt pretty bad during that, Consolo?
No, I honestly didn't get that injured. It's just like I think it shot me with some venom where it got me.
Yeah, well, can't help
Before
with that
you-
today.
I feel sick to my stomach right now.
Toby, I want to come over to you, and I pulled a stinger out of my gauntlet. I'm like just analyzing it, and I'm familiar with poison. I feel like I would be. And that's why I say, Toby, do you have anything that could like purify him? It's probably inside him, not like surface damage or anything.
I did not expect us to run into venomous creatures today, so I did not prepare the thing that could restore that. I can
Also,
get you back up to full vitality, but
Telperion, just as a bit of free insight, because you are proficient with medicines and poisons and such, the barbs of its razor hide did not seem to have any sort of like hollow canal in them that could excrete poison. That was purely a rigid spine, but the tail, the stinger of them, definitely, obviously.
Because I got the stinger in my gauntlet really early on. I think.
No, that was that was the razor, I think.
No,
Wait,
it was the first-
unless you got hit by a stinger, then there's that.
It missed, and I said that it went in my gauntlet, and you said it stuck there. Cause it had
That's right.
So that's what I pulled out and was analyzing.
Perfect. Got it.
I will. Kinsala, come here for a second. And I will, from
Yeah.
the backpack, take out an elixir of health. This should probably help you with whatever you've got, unless it's super bad, and then we got other problems. But take this.
Thanks, Roulette. Sorry, I don't mean to put you out, but I do think this is definitely inhibiting my ability to swing well.
No, that's
I'm
why we
finding
got it.
ill.
Got to make sure all our friends and patriots are up to snuff.
That also brings up a good point as we're getting close to this river, and then theoretically close to these other lycanthropes. Does anyone have any potions that they'd want me to store in my ring? And
What's a compatriot?
do you know what a patriot is?
Someone who's really proud of something.
But so a compatriot is someone who's you're really proud to be with them. That's the COM at the front.
So like Jerry's really proud to be with me, so he's my compatriot.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know about that. But Gonzalo, one way you could pay us back would be to be our best friends forever.
Oh. Wow, that had immediate effect. I feel way better. Yeah, you guys keep helping me out like this, and you are officially best friend forever material.
Wow.
He downs the contents of the elixir of health. Thank you, Roulette, and we'll recover from his poison.
Toby, I've got something for you.
Yeah, I want to reiterate if anyone has like potions they're willing for me to potentially better administer.
Here's an elixir of health.
Okay.
We actually just gave to Kinsalo, so it's similar.
That's right, we had two.
It's all delete mine, so you can add
Yep.
add it to your inventory. But also, when I use the ring, I always like write it in the notes
In the
section.
notes. That's what I got.
I won't.
Beautiful.
I'm not giving you anything, but I will just point out to everyone around the very specific spot in Alfie's body where a potion of healing is. I want to make sure I'm looking at this right one. Hold on. Potion.
I have one potion.
Yeah, I have one potion of healing that's within Alfie, and I will make sure everyone knows exactly where it is
Perfect.
for easy
And
access.
I think I mentioned this before when you've done this, but because you have explained this to people, it's not going to be an action to search through Alfie. It'll essentially be
Awesome.
retrieving an item like you were drawing a free interaction. So that because of your description, it is more easily accessible to your friends.
Do you have any other potions
Perfect.
in the ring right now?
No, that's the only one. I'd have this potion of climbing that we got like a month ago. So if we don't have any other better uses, I might dump it in.
I have this potion of superior healing, but it's kind of a wrench to give it up. But it also makes more sense in the ring. Also, we can keep walking while we're having this discussion.
Yes, we'll start heading towards the source of the rushing water.
All right,
Perfect.
Toby, you can have this, but this is like they're dead. What like potion? Not like this is like someone's almost dead on the ground, and then you give it to this. This is like
So this is the great part where that's where I could use this best.
Yeah.
So this is like I think doubly worth doing.
it's
Yeah, holy shit. Grave Cleric bonus action,
Uh-huh.
full max greater healing potion.
Superior,
Holy shit.
superior.
Or superior. Wow.
by full max.
Because that's if someone is at 0 and I
Grave
restore
cleric.
hit points to them in any way, it uses the max numbers.
8d4 plus 8.
As a bonus action, automatically
40.
maxed. So because of you guys' level, that's enormous. Wow.
I give you the potion. So everyone knows.
And I also have a potion of climbing I can give to anyone at any time.
Yeah, save that healing potion for Hotel Pelion. He always, gets super hurt. Every
Jerry's
single
really
time.
weak, so save the climbing potion for him since he can't fly.
Oh, I'll just fly instead of climbing.
Can't fly.
Can too. Since the moment you met me, Telpion, I've been able to fly. You know it.
Rogue, do you think we're heading in the right direction? It sounds like it's coming from that way.
I believe it's continuing more to the east.
Perfect. You guys are able to journey another 10 minutes or so east before coming upon the river.
The Great River.
And this map probably doesn't do it justice,
Right,
but it's
right.
a map. But it is in general like a large grand river, and its flow is quite substantial. It is absolutely flowing forward at like probably 60 feet a second, or 60 feet
Damn it.
around. We'll say it is a fast flow, and you recognize that based on your direction is probably flowing. Well, you can see the direction of flow is this way. And that makes sense knowing that the ocean is probably further to the west, and then you hear up further this direction the crashing noise, and you see the mist of what is very likely a waterfall in that direction.
Toby, can't you like make us
See, like, I hate that you asked me that, because like today I was not expecting us to need to walk on top of water. So no, I cannot help us out in this moment.
Didn't
many
we
days
know
did
that
you
there was a
prepare
river
that
we
spell?
needed to cross?
We only learned that after we asked them.
I could shepherd us across.
Oh, how so?
I can transform into a creature of this land, and you can ride on me across the river.
That would be incredible.
I mean,
Can you?
Does
I
that
hope
does
so.
that not take up too much of your reserves? I hope.
no, I don't believe so.
Is this creature something that can walk on water?
Well, no, walk through the water.
Oh,
I'd love to see that.
Dude, I can't believe I didn't prepare water walk. That's so.
I said, Toby, how many days have you prepared the water walk spell before now?
The one time we knew we were going over lava. That was it.
But what about Warhorse?
You all remember when Toby kept trying to make us walk on lava?
Doesn't have a swim speed.
It doesn't
how
have.
deep is this river?
Go ahead and make an investigation or perception check.
Is there something bigger than the crocodile?
You said it's pretty rapid.
It is pretty rapid, and I'll say, holy shit. I was about to say investigation versus perception are going to get fairly different results, but because you got a nat 20, it's just going to be pretty clear.
Have we done 30 so far this campaign?
Did we break 30
I
last
think
time?
so. I think we broke it last time. Someone had a high roll, and Jiri has breached it in the
32.
past on a charisma.
That's right. That's right.
And with a 30 investigation check, which is the highest DC that can ever possibly be set for anything. Roulette, you kind of examine first the almost the shoreline of where the water meets the edge of the land, and you can see how steep of a decline it goes downward. It's just sloped. It's not like a cutoff per se, but it just rapidly descends. You get a sense that this is probably 20-foot deep water.
Oh,
Okay, well, crocodiles still work. I'm gonna just start transforming into a crocodile.
What does this look like as you do this? What does the party see?
I guess like my skin starts to become a little bit more reptilian. I kind of become more prone. I grow these claws, but yet I still have like I look like a crocodile, but like made of the area around.
Yes, I was about to ask if you would
Like
shed.
a mossy
Fully
looking
natural made crocodile.
crocodile.
Crocodile version of Byramites.
Yeah.
Very, very, very cool. Is that a large creature? Is it a medium creature? What size?
It is
do
a
you mind-
large creature according to
Okay.
Oh, shit.
and I slide into the water down this like scuttle kind of
Mhm.
down
Yeah,
this cliff.
perfect.
Yeah, and while we do that, maybe Consala, could you fly across some rope, just an extra security measure?
Yeah, I also could possibly help carry people across. I don't know if you guys want me to use my
Oh, right.
transformation at this
Oh.
point or save it for later,
I
but I
think-
can also
I think we can
ferry
hang
some
off.
people.
I think we can hang off on the full avian form. God, that was
Yeah,
cool.
I can only do that like once a day-ish. Like it drains me pretty quickly. And if we don't know what we're coming up on with those lycanthropes, so I would prefer to keep it in my reserve. So plus I think Rome's got his handle. I mean, look at her. Holy shit.
Who is first?
Ooh, me. I'm gonna jump on the crocodile first.
Okay.
I'm gonna surf across.
I like grow like reins, like little vine reins that you can hold on.
I would
That's
like
amazing.
to
Hop on the
spend
back.
their venture, and just now as we've kind of got a plan, I would like to now like scope out the area and like, is there people on the far bank? Like, anyone following us? I know we thought the elves had been following us. They probably didn't follow us this far.
Yeah, if you're looking out, go ahead and give me perception. Okay. Very curious. Telperion, was that just a for fun roll, or was there a reason for that? Okay. You just wanted to roll dice.
You needed to roll a D100.
Tobirama, with a 17, you do not, you scan the kind of behind you. You don't see any more shifting bark of camouflaged wings. You don't think any forms crouching in tree cover. You don't see anyone that alerts you. However, I will say, I'm going to say your active perception was being given to behind you, but your passive still catches something of note in front of you as you turn back. Every so often in this river, you see just like a beautiful pink light just like shimmer through the water. Formless, but just pink light. And it's here. And then a few seconds later, it's over there. And then in another moment, you see two at the same time.
I'll go up and crouch down near this leafy alligator and say, Rome, I don't know if it's a thing or not, but there's something jotting around in the river, so just be wary.
I don't think I can respond back, but you would have also heard this as well, right? So Jiri can also...
I'll steer.
Yeah.
Jiri riding a back crocodile. Are you sitting and holding on to reins, or are you standing on top
I'm
of her?
standing like I'm surfing, and I'm like holding
Okay.
onto the
Like
rein.
windsurfing.
Go.
Very
Careful,
cool.
don't splash my tabby though.
So I'm gonna actually like
Alright.
take it and like flip it over my shoulder to like keep it from
Perfect.
getting dangling down and getting wet.
Okay, so you guys do start to make your way across, and immediately, Rome, you do feel the force of this volume of flow against you, and I need you to make a strength check to try and resist its push.
So, okay.
In the form of your alligator, so it's not Rome's
Yep.
strength, it's the alligator's strength, or crocodile.
That would be
rather.
2d20, so you could advance.
Advanced.
And then
Ah,
plus
okay, thank you. Right.
Yikes.
So
Alright.
nothing disastrous happens, but you, as you're going across, you are very quickly pushed in this direction.
Are those rocks at all like helpful in preventing flow, or is
They
that
can be. Most of them are submerged to some degree, but some of them may be coming up enough where they can like help kind of clamber against for readjusting. But it is essentially going to be every 10 feet or so of movement, you're going to need to utilize your strength to overcome the direction of the flow.
Okay.
Rome, you're going
So I'll
the
have you,
Rome, you're going the wrong way. You gotta go
so I'll
forward.
have you move again and go ahead and give me another strength check.
Okay, that's better.
There you go. That's the right way.
That time you're absolutely able to overcompensate and recorrect, and able to do that. I'm gonna have you do that one more time as you move to here. 10 is still enough that you're not being pushed downriver. However, Tobirama, you see it occur as it's happening, but you see one of those streaks of pink light moving in the direction of Rome and Jiri, and as soon as this formless, translucent light breaches the surface of the water, a bright pink dolphin becomes
Naga!
visible. As soon as it breaches out of its water, it becomes tangible, and you see it immediately disapparate and misty step directly towards Jiri. Jiri, I'm gonna give it, I need you to make a dex save with disadvantage.
Is there a goblin on its back?
There is not a goblin on its back. With an 11, you are slammed by this thing and pushed off of Rome's back, and as this thing bumps into you and falls into the surface of the water, it once more becomes entirely invisible, nothing but shimmering light. You do take a
I
tiny
have
bit
an
of damage.
action? Can I do something?
I would say this is a surprising event, so not even a reaction, but as soon as you hit the water, I'm going to allow you to do something, but I am going to have it roll its damage here. You take 7 bludgeoning damage as the force of this thing has slammed into you, knocked you into the water. In this moment, you have just hit the water. What are you trying to do in this moment? You can already feel the force of the flow you're going to be buffeted against Rome's form, but you know you could be at risk of being swept down river.
I grab onto Rome and I start to decondense, and like Rome like decondenses with me. And as I like turn into like mist, there's like a detonation of like thunder in our area as we reappear on the other side of the river over here.
Oh shit, you can do that to another character?
Mm-hmm.
You can bring a character with you. Can the creature be of large size? Is there any size restriction on Thunderstep?
Don't do that to me.
I don't know that there is, but I feel like you might be restricted to a creature of your size or
same
something.
size or smaller. I don't know about this stuff.
This would be an appropriate moment for alligator clap, which is kind of funny.
Your size or smaller.
It is your size or smaller. So as you try and do this, I'm going to say you do this not knowing the bounds of this magic, perhaps, and you safely are bamfed to the location on the other side of the river, wherever you intend to be. However, Rome is not able to leave with you and does suffer some damage. So I need Rome to make a save against this effect, and the dolphin will as well.
As the crocodile.
Is that a Yes, as a crocodile. Is this a Constitution save, Jiri?
Con save, yep.
Okay, so.
Oh, from spell.
You definitely see the shimmering light beneath the surface of the river. Yeah, we definitely take some damage here. 23. So how much damage or how many HP does the alligator have?
19.
Okay, so your form is disrupted, and Rome herself takes 4 points of damage, and you are now Rome once more in the river.
Okay, can I just say that when I exit my B shape, I like slide out of the skin of the creature that I inhabited?
Sure, yeah, you almost like a cocoon that you were piloting. You like are ejected from that form. I'm gonna give us a little bit of heightened music now that this is a little more stressful of an event. Let me do this. Rome is once more visible. The weeds and mud of your crocodile form are immediately like they start to wither and pull apart and are essentially just immediately starting to be washed away down river, almost like literally a cocoon of alligator form. But you are now you have only taken 4 points of damage. The dolphin, you see the light from beneath the surface. I'll keep it visible. It's just light, but when they are beneath the surface, they do not have a tangible form, but you do see from the concussive force of that blast, the light is much more dispersed. It doesn't seem to be all like cohesed together. That thing has definitely taken some serious damage. But at this moment, before anyone else has the opportunity to react in some way, I do need Rome to make a strength check with Rome's true strength at this point.
Any advantage or disadvantage on that?
Not specifically, no. Okay. You are no longer in a large form, so you do get swept a little bit, but that is enough of a strength check to resist a lot of its flow. So you are moved only 10 feet downriver as you try and start swimming against the current.
Okay.
And the alligator cocoon is, kind of, it's no longer really relevant to this, but it continues to be swept away. Now you all can, after this reactionary period had happened, you all have the freedom to move. Is anyone doing something first?
Oh, and just to flavor it, I'm imagining, since it was like a detonation of like thunder underwater, there's probably like
There's
huge
definitely an
blast
explosion of,
yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Kinsalo, let's do it again. Also, Crit, check your text.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Remember what I told you? Just like push off the ground or something. Do you need my help?
Yeah, come with me. Yeah, I can't do it alone.
Well, yeah, I'll go. Okay, go.
Right,
and so he immediately takes to wing and starts soaring in this direction. And he will functionally dash to try and cut off
I want to
Rome's,
go with
trajectory.
him, so I'm trying to like have him grab with me. So
so he's pulling you.
When I said again,
so that's what he was
I mean,
asking.
like, yeah, so that's what I meant last night. Like, well, I want to repeat that. Like, let's go.
Okay, so with he now has to carry you, so he'll still dash, but you guys are not going to make it quite as far.
Okay.
But he can start pulling you off in that direction for sure.
Excellent. That's all we.
Is anyone else doing anything? Jiri just acted. Rome, we'll get to you in a moment. Toby, Rama, and Roulette, anything you're doing as you saw this detonation splash and you're standing on the banks?
I wasn't done.
Oh, okay.
Because and what I do might impact what they want to do. Because we're using his movement, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so you still
like,
have your action available.
Yeah, so with my action, I want to use my telekinetic movement to lift Rome out of the water.
Okay, as you guys are soaring, you feel almost a dissatisfying, unsatisfying phenomenon as you're trying to lift her. It's very strange because usually you're lifting people from the ground, like you have a firm earth to stand on and using that almost like an anchor to then lift them up. When you are both held aloft, this is more difficult. I want an intelligence check, general intelligence from Telperion to see how successful this is in the air.
Oh,
a failure does not necessarily mean lack of success here, because this is an ability you have, but this is just unique circumstances.
It's a 3 plus 3, so 6. I'm gonna use my D12 just to keep this clean. 11. So
okay, so above 10, you overcome that weird sensation of not having.
Critter, 17 total.
I rolled an 11 on the D12. Yes.
Even better. So let's say that's pretty good. That's above 15, which I kind of think of things in terms of thresholds of 5 DCs most of the time. However, with this, as you start to almost feel you and Kinsalo dipping in elevation as you're trying to use you guys' elevation as an anchor point to lift Rome out, you kind of instinctually feel the flow of space around you, and you have this strange sensation, perhaps what Kinsalo was talking about yesterday, of being able to adjust to his surroundings to keep him aloft. You feel some sensation of being able to push off the ground under you, and even the space around you is still, it's air, so it's difficult, but it is fluid. So it has mass in the sense of physics. And so you kind of have a moment as you guys are about to dip, you overcompensate for that, almost sensing like a density to the air, and you are able to lift Rome fully out of the water. And she is held aloft without you guys sinking in elevation.
Beautiful. And I will gently guide her next to Jiri, 30 feet away.
Perfect. You are able to do so with that movement.
Oh, thank you.
Rome, you are lifted and ferried across to the shoreline, magically suspended by someone.
I shout across the way there, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I mean, we're all like on the edge of the water here. What are we gonna do? Sorry that didn't work, by the way.
I mean, can you use that twice?
Yeah, I can cast Wild Shape again, so I can become a crocodile again. But I think that we should probably try and kill this dolphin-like creature or repel it in some way because it's just going to happen again?
Yeah, as you guys see it, it's just periodically like moving like light underneath the surface back and forth. And you do see bits of other light that are not that same individual.
Kinsalo, do you think you could get Telperion and us across one at a time?
Yeah, it will maybe drain me a little bit of my composure. I get kind of exhausted carrying people in this form, but I definitely can help.
Try
I don't know
and
how much.
stay high if you can. It looks like that thing had a noticeable jump.
Okay, will do. Telperion, you want me to dump you off on the other side first?
Dump me, baby.
Okay. Kinsalo elevates, and you guys are moving somewhat slowly as he's carrying you. But he elevates to roughly 30 feet high in elevation or so.
While this is happening, can I start to cast the ritual spell, Speak with Animals, so they can try and speak to this thing?
Absolutely. You can start beginning that procedure. You know, if you cast this using a spell slot, I think it will probably only take a minute or so. If you want to ritualistically cast it without a spell slot, it's going to take like 11 minutes because it tacks on an extra 10 minutes on it. But you're absolutely able to begin this process.
Okay, then I'm just going to
cast
it. I'm just going to cast
it. Okay. You're very welcome to. So that will, I think, I'm going to pull up the spell just to make sure I understand it. If it still takes a minute, you absolutely start this process. It's just one action. Okay, so when you do it as a ritual, it would be 10 minutes, but you are able to just cast it in a moment. As you do that. So, yep, that is up for Rome, and Kinsalo is journeying across. Rome, I'm going to say, as you complete that spell and you feel the sensation that you should be able to reach out and communicate with animals, you see the light shimmering under the surface, and you see it dip down lower and begin to ascend as it is approaching the area where Telperion and Kinsalo are aloft 30 feet in the air or so. Are you trying to do anything in this moment?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my hands in the water and send energy towards it and attempt to speak with it and ask it to stop moving towards my friends.
Okay, I'm gonna have you make an animal handling check. I'm going to say with advantage because of the spell.
Oh, shoot. I should have done it the other way.
Oh! Above 20 is very, very good. As soon as you see that thing dip down, you reach into the water and kind of extend your consciousness to it and start speaking. And you suspect your words may have had some effect because you saw it start to rapidly swerm its tail, almost like it was attempting to breach the water very vertically to potentially get height in its jump. And as soon as it does, you send your thoughts out to it and you see its form slow, and it does not leap out of the water, but rather just breaches the water with its head available to be seen by all.
So cute.
And it regards you, Rome. It looks in your direction.
All right, I'm going to say, now that I have your attention, is this your river?
As you ask this question, you think you're just asking it in common or whatever language you intend to speak with it, and the rest of you just hear dolphin noises emerge from Rome's mouth, and you hear dolphin noises echoed back by the creature as it does its voice that I will not attempt to replicate. And Rome, you hear it respond, "We're just looking for people to bring back to the ocean with us so we can play."
We are on a grand adventure. We can come and play with you when we return. Can you allow us to safely cross?
We really want someone to play with now.
Well, if you go towards the shore, my friend Jiri is actually very playful, and he has lots of different tricks and stuff that he can show you. Maybe you could go towards the shore and see him.
If he can show us a trick that's funny enough, we'll let you guys pass for now. And so, Rome, you have that conversation with it, and it starts to swim up to Jiri. Jiri, you're not sure what they were talking about, but this creature seems to be, with its head emerged from the water, swims up toward where you are. And Kinsalo and
what are you
Telperion, I'll
doing?
say, as this is happening, you guys are able to safely continue and descend.
Do something as try and be as funny to a dolphin as you can.
Oh, I got a good one. I used to be a jester at one point. Watch this.
And so he starts to juggle, and then he like lets one of the rocks like hit him on top of the head, and he like pretends to like stumble and like fall backwards.
Amazing. Go ahead and give me a performance roll. Did you say show us Rome?
Yes, I want to see Rose. She's having a moment. Oh,
Dude, so sick.
Yeah, and hopefully that kind of matches closely to what Alex has in mind for the character.
Oh.
But obviously, as is the nature with pulling images from the online, I might not have exactly represented how Alex has in mind, but
Very
that's the closest we could find. And with a 28, the dolphin, its blowhole just like spews pink mist, and it just goes and just it does like a dolphin kick up in the air, like getting most of its body out of the air, and is just like buoyantly keeping itself there, very delighted by what you are doing.
And Jerry starts to like break dance on this rock.
You definitely have engaged this thing's whimsy, and it, after a few moments of playing with it, it looks at Rome and says, "Thank you," and then it dips under the water, becoming no longer form-based but pure light, and you see it move in this direction, swimming upstream rather competently. Not in its light form, it doesn't seem to be resisted at all by the flow of water, and you see other bits of light stream past and join it.
excellent. I think it's probably safe to bring the rest of us over here.
yeah, we didn't have to kill anything either.
Talking works.
All right.
Nice thinking, everyone. And before Kinsalo goes, I said, Kinsalo, you said that.
He starts to go.
Oh, before he goes, wait, come back.
Yeah.
You said that.
Hey, you did great lifting Rome out of the water. I know you were concerned that maybe you needed an anchor to keep you firm, but I think you did great.
Thank you. It was draining to carry me across, right? And you got to go take the other two.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
All right, come here, my feathered friend. And I want to do what I've done before and put my hands up to his temples and give him a second wind or a psionic surge.
Yeah, absolutely. You trigger your psionic surge to emphasize essentially the benefits of a second wind in his mind, and because what you're doing is just kind of reducing tiredness, not mechanically needing to heal, I'm going to say it automatically succeeds. This is something you have tried in different regards in the past, and this seems to be a somewhat reliable way you can do something. You're just lightening his burden right now, not mechanically knitting together his wounds or helping his mind overlook his pain, but this is a little easier to accomplish, and you feel you have done that. And he shakes off and says, "Well, I think that did something. Anyway, thanks, Telperion. I'll go get
Dust
the
off his elf ears as he goes. I said, good luck.
Thank you, friend." And he starts to soar back over. All right, guys, who's next?
Alfie first, Roulette. What do you think?
No, I just shout across to Jiri, Jiri, catch! And I'm gonna have Alfie shoot his hook shot. 50 feet of rope.
Yep.
Hopefully
Absolutely.
across the river directly at Jiri.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll, not to hit Jiri, but just in terms of the dexterity and precision of this launch.
This launch.
There we go.
Above 10 is plenty. Yeah, above 10 is plenty. You successfully, Alfie successfully aims and propels his grappling hook off in the direction a little past Jiri in the attempts to let Jiri grab onto some of the rope rather easily.
It like flies into Jiri and like pulls him, like pushes him backwards as he like catches this giant spear.
Once I
Oh yeah,
see-
so is Alfie intending to go in that direction, or is he just launching the projectile at this time?
Oh, he's launching it, and then as soon as I see that Jiri or Telperion or someone has it secure on a rock or something, he's going to just start reeling himself across.
I'm gonna go grab Jerry.
Very, very
Oh.
cool.
I don't trust Jerry.
Well, like, what if it like hits a tree and then it just like is stabbed into a tree?
Well, that could work, or you guys can hang on to the rope, but regardless of where it impacted, and especially if Telperion's aiding Jiri as well, I'm not going to require a check. You guys are able to successfully, based on where it impacted and kind of tethered to, and you guys holding onto the rope, Alfie has plenty, his trajectory is not quite smooth. He starts to kind of move this way as he tries to make his way across the flow of water, but you guys are able to help him reel in.
Toby, do me a favor, just close your eyes and hold on for a second. I will wait till Toby closes his eyes, and then I will.
I figured
Okay.
I'd want to go
As
last,
he's-
but I'm doing
as he's
it.
talking, I'll cast Vortex Warp on Toby, and just launch him across the way. And by launch, I mean gently place him.
Yes. Toby Rama, a very strange sensation as you feel like almost like as if in a train with your eyes closed. You guys know what trains are, but the sensation of like when a train goes around a bumpy turn or something and the whole thing rattles, you feel that sensation and open your eyes and you are across the river.
Welcome.
Turn around.
Just me left, Gonzalo, if you wouldn't mind.
All right. Well, let's get you over there, ma'am. And he puts out his arms for you to kind of come into him, and he picks you up. Oh, you don't have heavy armor on. This is way easier. And he escorts you over to the other side of the bank, and you guys have successfully crossed the river.
Woo!
Good job, guys.
Gonzalo and Rome, you guys will probably get used to me asking this every time, but is everyone okay? Everyone's doing all right?
No, that dolphin slapped me in the face.
That was so funny.
You want a little help getting back up to your best, Jerry?
He's
I
fine.
mean,
Look
we
at
can
him.
just sit here. Why don't we rest for a little bit?
We have been traveling a long time today, especially if we think we're going to get there within a day. That might not be a bad idea.
I mean to let that song play. Perfect.
Quick rest.
Uh,
Onward.
Okay.
But
Well,
Jerry,
you
you
guys
weren't
can
even in the
definitely
fight. How are you
rest.
tired?
What?
You weren't even in the fight, Jerry. How are you tired?
Did you not see that dolphin just smack the shit out of him?
Get him. He's
It
fine.
smacked me,
It tail
and then I
slapped
had
you.
to entertain it afterwards. Such an insult to my honor.
Yeah, but I mean, you made him leave.
Yeah,
You
I mean, it
juggle.
would be entertaining, so
We're just giving
Who
Jerry
else
shit.
would have done
We
I
can
that?
didn't
rest.
even get paid. Not even a tip.
Yeah,
I
if you
draw
think
a
about it this
flower
way,
out of my hand for Jiri and I give it to him.
I mean, if this was gold, I'd be happy, but it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
you bought a safe passage. That's no small thing. While we short rest, we want a bio break.
That sounds perfect. Let's do it.
YouTube, you finally done did it. Enough of you guys were yelling at me on stream and in the comments of the videos telling me that the Hermit got some changes to it. Some people said buffs, some people said nerfs. I don't really know, but I went in just wanting to know what was new, what was going on, what was hot, what was spicy. Is he worse now? Is he the best now? And honestly, if you really want me to, please, how about the 2,500 likes on this video, and I'll do at least another couple of videos. I think that he's really, honestly, the most interesting modded character that exists that I've played, and yeah, I
I am actively so jealous. Wait, what the fuck? Tim.
I mean, even with all of you guys, I mean, it's within the next month. Like, I think the 24th is that Saturday. You guys will get there less than a month from now. That's super fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I only have like 2 or 3 more.
It seemed to me like you played it this way, but my intent of the candle when casting Speak with Dead was that it might not recognize me as a hostile creature.
It's funny you bring that up because I don't know if that was intentional on your part, but because it did not see Telperion, the creature that slayed it, things went as they went. You don't know if it seeing an extremely hostile creature like Telperion that had killed it, that could have altered things.
I was looking through the spell description specifically and wondering if other people could ask it questions, and it didn't seem like other people could. So I was focused on trying to hide its
that was
field
definitely
of view at all.
That was definitely a variable in my mind that I took into account for sure.
Nice. Because you know, I don't totally remember how. I was also like the one who like asked, "Hey, do you need help?" And then we started attacking. So I was like, they also probably don't want to see me. So like, I was keeping that stuff in mind. I was like, maybe this will work the way I want it to.
Yeah, it's very cool that you used that. I forgot about the scouts that had died from the Dragloth.
Yes, that's what
and climbing the mountain to Chimeras. I totally spaced on that, but I fucking just love this spell. Ooh, bards get Speak with Dead too. That's weird.
That is strange. I don't want it that loud.
That was a fun encounter, Chris.
Yeah.
I like that one.
That was encounter where I'm like, sometimes I like put exhaustive care into a lot of like interactions, and like the way I have this place is like it matters the history of its lore and how people would behave themselves there, and like who they might be amenable to interactions with, who would they not. Like I think about so many of those things so intensely, and this was one of those ones where like, these creatures exist, they would exist in a river, let's see what they do with this encounter. Like that was one where I'm like, I have to do a lot less here and just see how you guys puzzle solve. That was very fun.
Yeah, it was a good one. I enjoyed that.
Because also the easiest thing there is, it's not that much of a spoiler. I'll try and pull back the curtain too often, but like Kinsalo could have just his standard self fared you all, but I would have given him 1 point of exhaustion for that amount of effort carrying you guys all in his form. Or he could have used his bird form, which is a resource he would have burned, to do it without exhaustion. So like there was always going to be something was going to be used to solve that puzzle. I just didn't know what it would be, so that was pretty fun.
Unrealistic that there were no goblins though.
In the water?
On top of the dolphins.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that was big midwater.
Were the dolphins? Oh, what was the? Oh, I remember the name of the creatures. Shit.
You could also just look at it in the chat. It's probably still within view. Their dazzling slam right under it. It says what the creatures.
No, I'm thinking about what they were called
you're thinking
in
of something
Midwater. They had a specific creature name.
Oh, I know it.
You're gonna say.
You want to think about it?
I want to think about it, and I know that I probably won't get to it. But when you say it, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck!" I
Give
need
him a
to
hint.
Call. I'm sure it's in my notes. Yeah,
It started with a D.
It was. I don't think it
Was
was
it like Dolphinians or something?
No, I don't think it.
That's
like,
what I was
even
thinking.
close
Dolphinian
to
for like
dolphin.
dolphin minion or something. But they
They're
were the
close to
intelligent
that.
ones.
Yeah, they were the leaders. So like, I don't think it even was dolphin.
Dolphinstigator or like.
Oh,
It was-
right.
it was-
Dolph something, right?
It was Dolph something,
Dolph.
and it's another
Dolphinian.
another
Dolph
D&D
Green,
race ends in the same kind of segment.
Dolph Fork.
Dolph.
Dolphin.
Dolphadrin.
Dolphanticore?
Wait, I thought it was
No.
Dolphana. Wait.
No. You're close.
Wasn't it like Dolph?
Yes, it was Dolph something.
Oh my god.
Like with a TH, right?
Hmm.
Dolph.
Bugbear. Dolph Bear. That's what it is. Thanks.
No.
I'll take my points.
One point of
Dolph
inspiration.
Caneloff. Dolph Caneloff.
Okay.
Oh, you're so right, Dolph Caneloth. That's funny because
Yeah,
that's
I
funny.
remember
Like
Yeah, our
Dolph-
Caneloth is a
Dolph
creature,
Caneloth.
yeah. Which you guys have encountered a Yugoloth
Mhm.
in this campaign.
And a Quakeoff.
Yeah, that's just happens to be the end of that word. But
What?
well, cool. You guys are definitely able to kind of find a small but suitable clearing right off the bank of the river to catch your breath for a moment, take a short rest. Is there any items of business we need to resolve on that short rest, or are you guys just hoping to hang out for an hour?
I have one potentially quick thing. I would just like to go plop a squat next to Telperion. You alright after that? I know that's not potentially resource intensive to get room across the way.
I mean, pink dolphins are a nightmare, so I think we are relatively unscathed compared to where we could be.
For sure. There's a question that's been on my mind. Yesterday, it seemed like kind of out of the blue, you were very antagonistic towards those lycanthropes. And that struck me as strange as I had started trying to convince them we weren't harmful to them, and then I saw you reaching out and going for swipes with your sword. I was just was wondering if there's more to that than just
No, I think was that all your question?
But I've noticed with you. No, that's not. That's Michael metagaming. What I was about to say. So that's not what Toby was about to say. Because Michael knows that you went and saw the elves in his mind, but Toby doesn't know that. I was just surprised to see you seek out that fight when it seemed like we might have a way to avoid it and be on our way. I don't know if there was a reason you instigated attacking them, or...
I think it was a couple of reasons. I mean, first of all, I was watching Jiri go after a wolf, and I had a feeling we weren't going to get out of that without complication. I was reading one of their minds is that we were trying to decide whether or not to pursue it, and what I read made me think they were enemies. But it was in the heat of the moment, and I don't know that I read it clearly. So even now, I'm not entirely convinced it was the right move. I also was able to interpret that they were of the court, the Winter Court, which means they support the Queen of Air and Darkness, and we've seen her means and her methods. So in some way, I wanted to simply inhibit what they were doing, which is why I do feel more connected to what the Eldritch are asking of us. But like I said earlier, Kinsala made good points. I don't seek to destroy them simply because they're lycanthropes. And I also don't know that I even seek to destroy more than we've killed. So, like we've discussed, I'm kind of unsure how we'll proceed, but...
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. That's like... It is very gray, and I just wanted to make sure you weren't just lashing out, and specifically like us are so unfamiliar in this place, and you have an added bit of context to how we're proceeding. So I just wanted to check in and just I'm never seeking out to end someone's life, especially in this place where I don't know if they're in the right or the wrong. Now we know that, they seem to be doing something kind of foul. It just seemed drastic to me at the time, and I was just hoping to get a little context about it, about your decision.
I mean, I think a part of being a warrior is knowing that that we, all of us, made decisions in the heat of the moment, them included. They pointed their swords right at us and attacked with plenty of ferocity in return. When all of us could have slowed down. So don't know that it was the best outcome, but of all the things I could regret, that's not terribly high on the list. It just makes me want to be careful moving forward.
And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not, trying to pose judgment or anything. I was just hoping to hear from you about thought process. I think I definitely am starting to realize the seriousness of the seasons here and how you were describing Titania and the Queen of Air and Darkness. So
we're in very treacherous waters, not even just these. We've, in a sense, made a pact to members of one of the courts. So to double back on that won't go without repercussion. And then to make further enemies of the prominent court right now, we're in a web. There's no getting around that.
Well, I'm happy to have you around. Happy to have someone around with some inkling of the situation here. And it's been very helpful to have you steer us in the right path.
Certainly. Happy to help. I'm not going anywhere. Thanks for your aid.
That's all. You appear to be muted.
I sure am. Is there anything else anyone else wanted to talk on or address in the short rest? Otherwise, we're fine to conclude that.
Jiri will just go searching for insects of the Feywild and bring them to Roulette to look at with under her goggles. And so he's just gonna find many things and maybe some snails from the river or something like that. He's just gonna go on a biology little trip, and maybe Rome comes with him. I don't know. Would you be interested in?
Oh, I'd love to come along.
Yeah, and then maybe we'll have Roulette like take a look at all these critters under your goggles and be like,
This is the most Tim and Alex these two characters have ever acted.
Yeah, perfect. With Jiri instigating this, but with Rome's aid, I'll say, Jiri, make a nature check with advantage.
oh boy.
Wow. You definitely find some bits and pieces of wildlife. You do find like a little snail that changes colors along the banks of the road. You find a little insect that is like more like a beetle, but it doesn't have like pincers, so it's fairly harmless to pick up. You're able to get a couple little critters for Roulette to take a look at.
Roulette, look at these under your goggles. Tell us what they look like.
I will also take out the half a dozen or so little stone sculptures that I have of bugs from the cave south of Ostanis.
Oh my god.
And do I don't normally do like medicine or anything like that or nature stuff like this, but just functionally comparing these like different bugs. Like I know one's made of some made of stone, but like comparing material plane bugs to Feywild bugs.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and give me investigation with advantage, or however the glasses work. Do they give advantage on a check like that, or do they give a adder? I forget if you have your goggles of
minute
sight,
Advantage within
minute seeing. Yep. Yeah, if you're closely inspecting these, go ahead, investigation with advantage.
I would hate if she rolled another 30.
26 isn't far off. You do catch something. The beetle seems like almost sadly standard fare. It's just like a dark purple violet beetle, and it like as soon as you're kind of looking at it carefully, it eventually takes flight as its like back shell opens up and its wings underneath kind of pull it aloft and kind of floats over to the side. Although like a torch bug or a firefly, it does kind of trail behind it a soft little light as it disappears. Noticeably, the little snail slug type creature Jerry found on the bank of the river, it changes not only its coloration as it's like moving around in your hands, but also close inspecting it, it does not it doesn't seem to truly be like a cylindrical amorphous form like a slug would. It actually seems to be extremely flat, but is like coiled around itself that gives itself a way of moving along the ground. So it's like almost like a sidewinder snake, how its coiled movement is capable of it. That's kind of what this slug is. It's not really a slug in the natural sense. It's an extremely flat creature that can coil to give itself the ability to move. And then the insects you inspect that are made of stone from your time in the cave south of Ostanis, I'll say even without check that high, not much that flags your attention. You suspect that the highly precise amount of detail just clearly indicates these were creatures that were petrified by the basilisk's magic. Yeah, and they're by no means are these statues having been carved. They're literally too detailed for like that, like the pores, the tiny little segmented body carapaces, like all that stuff is too perfect to have been carved. These were absolutely frozen, locked in place organisms. That's what you get from those.
Oh, you should look at the little dude under those glasses and see what it looks like too.
Look at the what?
The little dude, the little dragon guy.
Oh, I was gonna. I'm assuming he's been on my shoulder for most of this.
I would say in general, flits between you and Rome specifically. Various points of invisibility during conflict or states of if he's on either of you and you have a state of emotional stress or fear or sadness, he turns invisible, or it turns invisible. But otherwise is playful and hops among you both. But you're absolutely able to examine the fairy dragon.
I'm gonna offer up the little slug to the fairy dragon just to see what he does.
He sniffs it and just like sucks it in.
Jerry, I think is the Fey food is probably what he likes the most, but or what they like the most, but the rations seem to be working for it. Yeah.
I'm just curious if like things from like our realm can live here, and if things from this realm can live over there.
Well, we're living and you guys are from there.
Yeah, but we've only been here for like 2 days.
Telperian's been. Oh nope.
You know I've been here before.
Yes, you have. Yes, yeah. It's a great question, Jerry. I mean, I think we're gonna cross that bridge when we come to it, as far as whether or not this little guy wants to come with us. But yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Roulette, you would suspect, at least from the physiology of the creature, you would suspect it could breathe air and would survive in the realm. Whether or not it is bound to this place or would choose to go is another issue entirely. But
I wonder if it would be like bound to that Fey crystal thing. Like maybe it needs Fey energy, so maybe it would really be kind of trapped to go wherever that thing's going. Should we be off though?
Yep, I'm well rested. Back to being hydrated. I'm ready to go.
Let's get after it.
We should make a plan while we walk.
You guys rolled pretty well earlier, and I'm just going to say it's a continuation of that. And you have made it further east of the river that the dead werebear had disclosed the location of, roughly. Toby, Rama, and Rome, as our kind of leading trackers amongst this wilderness, you guys eventually do come across some more frequent foot traffic tracks of individuals with different sized feet, some clawed, some not clawed, some booted, as well as things like long straight striations in the ground, like wheels having been churned into the mud, as if like a cart had been pulled along this place. So definitely indication of intelligent life and movement in this space. And as you guys proceed further, fog begins to kind of roll in. And as you approach a little bit of a clearing in part of the woods, the fog is now somewhat pervasive enough that it is occluding much sight very far. And I'm going to move us to here as you guys all breach some tree cover and see the vague silhouette form of a structure off in the distance.
Before you describe the structure, there's one last thing I would like to have said, like while in the planning phase on the walk in. So we agreed that, we don't want to kill the leader unless we find we have good reason to. That will be a game time decision, I suppose. When it comes to if we're trying to fulfill the second half of the bargain where we're taking a creature, we might want to take two, because I don't know what they consider beautiful, because that was the primary condition, right? They needed a beautiful creature. I think we take the most gorgeous and the most hideous and hope that one of those two appeals. Because that troll thing was ugly by my definition, but we're a little vague.
Remind me, do these creatures have to be dead or alive?
Alive, because they want them to be able to roam the forests.
Ah.
Anyone good at animals here? We're gonna have to
try and persuade them.
Persuade.
Yeah, Rome can speak to them. I'm good at managing them.
Right. We need to tempt them somehow as well.
I guess we also have to know like what exactly is even in there.
It's true. So Jerry had a really good idea of 2 people going in and the rest kind of splitting up and surveilling and being ready. I'd say Gonzalo should definitely not be in the initial team because he can fly and he can get really good eyes in on the situation without giving himself away. Jerry's very good at making people like him despite any reason, so he could go in. He could go in first. I don't know. Does anyone else want to volunteer for the Team Up with Jerry team?
Oh, I can pretend to be a beast. I'll howl.
Yeah,
Okay.
Jerry, you wanna go take a look around?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Rome can go with me. And Rome, you can be like my interpreter.
Oh, I like the idea of Rome going in because she could speak to animals if needed. So we're like Gonzalo and I will hang around outside and try to keep an ear out.
In that case, I am gonna cast Paso a Trace so that we are stealthed and not seen while snooping.
Very well.
On all of us?
And me
Well, it'll be the 3 of us, right?
How many can I go on?
I think you
Village
can go on
Shadow
anyone as long as they're within 30 feet.
Yeah, you
so,
guys just have to be within 30 feet of me.
So, at the same time, I'm going to cast Aid. I'm going to give it to Rome, myself, and Topirian Roulette, Gonzalo, Roulette.
Wait, but I'm on the strike team.
Oh.
Give it to Jerry. I'm staying back.
Okay, I'll give it to Jerry. So us 3 have 5 extra max HP.
Perfect. And Rome has cast Pass Without a Trace. At least in the moment of casting, it can apply to everyone. But as soon as Rome goes in a direction, it follows her path. So
The question is,
so who's doing what? We'll say like you guys don't technically need to have been on this map, quote unquote, yet. You're still off in the woods discussing. But who's kind of moving forward or considering approaching, and who's hanging back or going around different sides, etc.
does anybody have any medium armor on them?
Yes, I do. I'm using it. Do you mean extra?
Yes, I did. I didn't mean the clothes you're wearing.
You didn't say on us.
That's true. I just wish I wasn't a clinking, walking metal man.
Ooh, we should have Roulette make you a pair of like puffy clothes like mine.
Roulette, how long is your to-do list?
Very long.
Put that at the top, though.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So
we can be puffy twins. We'll look so cool.
Oh, I have a question. Just like, sorry, out of character. Is it possible for me to remove my cloak and give it to Telperion, or does that take too long to attune to?
You can absolutely do it, and you can break attunement as soon as you intend to. As soon as you choose to like let go of the connection to it, you can unattune to it fairly immediately, but it would take Telperion some time to acclimate to its magic. So the attunement process is usually something that takes an hour or the duration of a short rest.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
It doesn't give a bonus to stealth. It just allows you to
allows you to hide. Okay, never mind.
I mean, myself, it's not the biggest worry here. So what are the 3 of you going to say when you walk in there?
Well,
what's up?
Well, I don't imagine we're just gonna like waltz in there, right? Can we like kind of scope around the outside?
Scope around first, get an idea of how, just get an idea of the situation. Jiri, you seemed like you were practicing that guy's voice. Maybe you could like just kind of unsettle them a bit and make them less likely to just start attacking.
Ooh, I could use that voice and call them to come on out of the hiding. Be like, come here. I got a Ladrin elf that I like captured. I need help. bringing him. And then Talpyrion can pretend to be the elf.
Oh. That's actually a really interesting idea.
And what?
Then what is a great question.
That was amazing coming from Roulette specifically.
I imagine then they try to stab me a lot
So
of time.
then,
Well, then I'm dressed up like one of the half beasts, and we can make me look like Beastie. You know what I mean? Like a bear.
Could we?
I think we should start by going and doing a perimeter.
I would say,
Yeah.
Jiri, based on their size, you think they're within the realm of possibility of your magical illusion work.
Ooh,
They're the
maybe
same
I can-
arrangement of limbs and such, so you think you might be able to pull something like that.
Look, I do like Toby's idea. Why don't the stealthiest 2 or 3 go on the surveillance mission and tell us what we're working with? Jerry, that probably does involve you to start. But I don't know.
Okay, Rome, go check.
Console, you want to go with it and keep it to the air? I don't know.
Sure, I'll do whatever you guys think is best.
Okay.
Maybe Rome and I go and take a ground circumference of the area, and maybe Console, you get a little aerial view and see if anything spots your eye and report back to these 4.
Yeah, so one thing is the problem here. My ears are fairly good, but with this fog, I'm not going to be able to see very far. So getting an aerial view doesn't necessarily help me in this situation.
Is it foggy all the way through?
In this whole space, past further into the tree cover and now in this open space, yeah, it seems to be pretty ubiquitous.
Toby's got good eyes. Maybe Rome and Toby should go.
Hearing Kinsella say that, I will kick out Moby 3 and toss him up into the air. I can stay above you guys and get a quick.
All right, yeah, we should start by gathering information. So I think that's our first.
Okay, so who's gonna come with me then?
Me.
Toby.
Excellent. Toby, let's go. Stay close.
Let's do that.
And I'll tie up Talpyrion while you guys are doing that to get him ready to be
I will kill Jerry while you guys are doing that.
I will go under,
You
and
can
I will have Moby 3 go up in the air to start inching forward up to 100 feet away from me.
One day I intend to have different icons for Moby and Alfie, but
No, just do what you're doing. Do the small thing. It's perfect.
Okay, so what are we working with here? So Toby,
where'd you
where
go?
are you going? Oh, okay, you guys just moved yourself wherever.
We are moving
Okay,
ourselves a little, but
Okay, so as you guys start to approach, you guys can clearly see like a structure off in the distance, and it looks like the tower top has fallen to the ground. It looks like a very dilapidated, abandoned possibly structure that could be the size of a chapel. So maybe you're onto the right track. As you guys make it around here and start to progress further, I want Toby, Rama, and Rome to give me a stealth check with the extra +10 from passing that
that's
trace.
so right. Let's go.
Okay, so
You both rolled really well, a 22 and a
23.
23. Now give me a perception check, each of you. And Roulette, I'm going to say Moby 3 doesn't need to make a stealth roll, but give me a perception with disadvantage.
With disadvantage?
Yes.
So Moby 3 has blind sight up to 60 feet.
Up to 60 feet. And he's hovering how far?
I was going to have him be like
60
30
feet above the ground. 30 feet above the ground.
them,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Then go ahead and give me, well, he's going to get some information automatically. Give me him just a straight roll then as well.
Okay.
The blind sight's going to give you automatic stuff. I just kind of want, there's an audible component to this that could affect variables too. And
So
that in the audible portion has nothing to do with the fog, which is straight roll, which is unless he's got advantage on stuff like that.
He's got advantage on perception checks that rely on hearing.
Okay, so he can get advantage on this whole check.
It's a bat, essentially.
Yeah.
If you ever need to.
I totally had forgotten at the time.
I'm just gonna roll 2d20 really quick and take the higher and add 2.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work for sure.
That'll do. You guys all rolled really extremely well. This is gonna be fairly reasonable. Okay, we'll say Moby 3 gets to there at this point. That's within 60. That's within 60. You guys are gonna get some information. Okay. Let's do this. As you guys quiet your footstep and start to approach slowly this structure, Toby, Rama, Rome, you'll get this information in a little bit. Toby, Rama gets this first. There seem to be 2 bow-wielding individuals just kind of posted up on watch. They're just like kind of low, very low volume chatting with each other, and it's not very audible except for your very perceptive ears. And they seem to be awake and alert, but the fog has not indicated your presence. You guys have kept quiet footstep enough that they do not know you're there yet. You catch a similar hint of conversation over in this direction as another individual is there, and then Rome, you start to pick up on this a couple of moments after Toby, Rama, and Moby 3 gets an additional sight of these individuals. There seem to be 2 more scout, archer, ranger type individuals over here, as well as another one over here with a large, Moby 3 gets this information alone at this point, a large 2-headed wolf-like creature off in this direction. And it is that wolf individual is currently, Moby 3 does pick up on this. It's gaining some, it's projecting some version of a low guttural growl snoring noise. So it is not currently awake, but the individual at its side does seem to be. So there seem to be, you guys have not yet been noticed, but you guys seem to be walking into a situation where several individuals are camped up, on watch, etc.
I'm whispering what I'm seeing aloud to who's ever next to me.
Where's the sleeping one?
And yeah, once because it's like it's not getting too far away from me, but I will have Moby 3 come back to me after I do that initial sweep. Actually, no, I'm gonna have Moby 3 land on Toby's shoulder, and just attach itself there.
Perfect.
So
This will be. Perhaps we need to have a game plan before we move any further, because clearly it's occupied.
So it's occupied. They seem to be on watch. They don't seem to have noticed us yet. I don't know if we've explained this, but this guy on my shoulder, that's given Roulette a way to keep an eye on what we're doing. Do we want to go further and further scout? We have to be pretty careful about which path we take. Maybe we could try and skirt around them, something like this.
I'm going to say also Toby and Rome, this doesn't apply to Moby 3, but Toby and Rome, you're getting mostly auditory cues from these directions. Your vision is somewhat limited to 30 feet or so, even with normal sight, because the fog is providing occlusion there. But again, that does not apply to Moby 3.
I would be willing to keep moving forward, but we should agree on, like, if we are seeing what is our story, what are we going to tell them, or how are we going to react? Because I think we're maybe going to be outnumbered.
Definitely, we definitely will be. It becomes a question of, do we try and pretend that we know something, or do we pretend that we're ignorant? Because this place is, I mean, ominous. I don't know that someone stumbling upon it would continue in.
We could say something along the lines of, like, we're not from this realm, and we're trying to find our way back, and we kind of just stumbled on this area to try and convince
We also have the name Yurik, I think was correct, that we can use, to potentially stop them from unleashing right away.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can skirt. It's only sound like there was one group on the left. We could either keep going forward, they don't seem to have noticed us, or we could try and skirt around the left side and proceed further in.
Okay, yeah, we can go around the side.
Yeah, so
to the left.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start trying to it seems like there's an elevation difference since there's the stairs. So I want to try and stay on the cliff edge before heading farther up.
Okay. Understood. Are you guys starting to move in that direction?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say by the time you get to right about there, you are now probably pretty close enough to where these individuals are just becoming visible. And so as soon as you start to see them, I'm going to say you probably take a step back to make sure that you don't have vision of each other. If you move forward at all, regardless of a nat 20 stealth roll, coming into plain sight with these individuals is going to reveal your location.
And there doesn't seem to be any cover that we could slink around.
You could dip down on not the higher part of the terrain and maybe try and keep your profiles low and dodge around them in that way. But what you have in mind right now is going to put you in direct line of sight with these individuals.
Yeah, they're clearly.
And so I just want you guys to Toby would acknowledge that in this moment and consider, okay, how do we literally want to make our next steps?
Yeah, they're clearly watching this path. Maybe we should dip down and see if we can't climb up around here behind their view.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say with a little bit of, maneuvering, your current stealth check will still apply. So you're able to get over to that vicinity unseen, unheard, except probably seen a little bit by your comrades, depending on how far back they are or not. And if they're further back, off map, that's fine too. And again, we can go off map, quote unquote, with this, and you can kind of give a wide berth around those individuals and try and make your way further up the map if you're intending to.
That's definitely what we're trying to do, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move you up to here-ish, assuming you took kind of a wide berth and are approaching it from a new direction. I'm gonna want new perception rolls as well. You know what? We'll say the stealth check still applies. However, something gets a check now.
Sure. I'm gonna do perception
because you guys way beat any of their passes. So I wasn't gonna do this, but this is a different situation here. You guys start to approach from this direction, and with Moby 3's blind sight flagging this, as well as you guys hear a similar kind of snoozing, growling purr from a creature up ahead, these two individuals become known, even if not fully seen. You guys are able to maybe see their forms, and then you back off a little bit to make sure you can't be seen. But you identify the location of those individuals as well. And they don't seem to have caught your approach.
Does it seem...
I'll say also, now that you come from this direction, Moby 3 will also flag one more individual, seemingly birdfolk or a were-raven, up in the treetop of this, high above the rest from an elevated elevation.
I'm just gonna, for like direction's sake, the only way Moby 3 is communicating is with his movements. So at some point, like he would have while holding on to Toby's shoulder, just like started fluttering to the left a little bit to be like, go that way, or like taken one of his little wings and pointed in a specific direction, like up into the air. So yeah, because he has no other form of communication.
Perfect. Okay. Well, you have identified those individuals, and now that you're much closer, you can see this is absolutely some sort of ruined chapel. You can even see into most of it. There's like rotting floorboards, demolished walls. This thing has been sundered long ago, and there's no lights on inside. There's no indication of like living being done from within that space.
I think we keep scouting a little bit and see if we can't identify where they might be holding some creatures. If we can get an idea of where creatures are being held, I think we make our way back to the group. Because
we want to keep heading upwards then?
I think so.
Along the side?
I think so, because now we know for sure we're outnumbered. So let's just get that last bit of knowledge about what our goal might be of rescuing people, of rescuing creatures. And then we'll do that.
As a reminder to myself, how long does Pass Without a Trace last? Is it 10 minutes? Is it an hour?
1 hour.
Hour. Okay, you guys are well within that. But if it was 10 minutes, we might need to consider accommodations there. But you guys are able to continue your stealthy venture kind of around, I'll say, pretty much the perimeter of this space. There do not seem to be much presence behind the chapel, as it kind of gives way to wilderness and dense brush and kind of terrain that almost naturally defends this location. But they are clearly paying more attention to the kind of more traveled road entrance to this location. You guys get to hear, I'll just say you guys get to hear and also flag one final individual hiding behind cover with an arrow knocked and at the ready to loose. Right here, just crouching behind a small stone retaining wall and aiming down the path, but having seen no one to loose his arrow at. But clearly a very on high alert individual scout.
So interesting that there's no like creatures that we know of in the structure,
and that they seem to like potentially at all times be on crazy high alert.
Yeah, like what are they guarding here? There's probably something concealed within the chapel that maybe we just can't see at the moment.
I think what we should try to do is for starters, head back to the group, retrace our steps. I think we should try and then retrace our steps and try and lead them around and see if we can't enter the chapel without alerting any of these sentries.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that.
Deal.
The group may also have some ideas as well.
Exactly.
Very well. I will say, meandering your way, giving a wide berth around this area, you three, Toby, Roman, Moby 3, are able to ultimately get back around to your allies. We'll say this next conversation can take place like a little bit off map. You guys are still maybe within some tree cover. The fog is still pervasive in the space, but you guys are not close enough where you feel your voices will be heard. So you guys can have a discussion. I'm going to say with that whole perimeter, you guys have probably burned through most of the Pass Without a Trace, but it is still active.
Okay. Well, we weren't able to see what was inside the chapel, but it's clearly being heavily guarded by both what looks like humanoid figures and
some beasts. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
noticeably-
about twice as many of us ish.
Yeah, noticeably, I didn't really give this information at the time, but there are bugbears, there are goblins, there are
Oh, okay.
human-looking individuals, there are just various races kind of defending this location. Some shorter gnome-looking individuals, but all of them look rather shoddily outfitted, simple leathers, markings on their face indicating perhaps some cohesion as a tribe identifier. These people all seem to obviously be, working together in some semblance, but they are multitude of different races.
This is more just like a lore check. Are bugbears and goblins usually?
They have
evil?
history. I would say there were probably assumptions based on history of certain notable tribal conflicts in the plane material or the prime material plane, but there's no indication that they have any more propensity for evil than any other race. And you do know bugbears and goblins specifically do have bloodlines, roots, ancestry of Fey lineage, actually, even though they are very pervasive in the prime material plane as well.
I got 2 ideas. Idea number 1, I turn into a cloud because it's foggy out, and I just float into the building. Idea number 2, I make myself look like that bear, and I tell them the elves are gonna attack. They have to go like either run away or like get ready and like meet the army of elves that are coming and like ambush them like on the road or something like that.
Well, if you have
Make them leave.
if you have the ability to transform, are you changing your body?
I'm really good at acting.
Couldn't you impersonate Yurik?
You could. You could portray yourself as having escaped from a bloody encounter.
That's what I was saying.
With
And then,
Eladrin,
like,
and say
they're on their way. We gotta get everything
we
out.
always thought they would approach from the south, but it looks like they're actually approaching from the north. We need to shift.
Yeah, it's an ambush, and then we sneak into the building. Or I could just sneak in as a cloud, because it's kind of foggy. They'll just think I'm fog. Or both.
If you snuck in there and you got information on what's inside, that would be advantageous. But we already know we need to get in there because if it's so heavily guarded, we know there's something worth getting in there for.
Outside specifically.
So the question is, I mean, you two just got very close. Could you have gotten into the chapel if you wanted to? If you wanted to take the risk?
Were there like ample doorways? Was there one main entryway that we could?
I would say you guys would probably need to get even closer to the structure to see individual details through this fog. However, it was probably somewhat apparent that the more destroyed parts of this structure were on the sides and the front. The back of the structure was much more well maintained. There's not holes in the side of walls. So maybe perhaps that could lead credence or give credence to why they're protecting the front rather than back, as the back is perhaps more difficult to enter. But still, there was probably, there could be a window or two there or other means, but probably need to get closer to inspect the actual building.
Just float right through a window.
Does it use a lot of your resources? I mean, it could be a
because for one, that is an incredibly useful tool, but I don't want you to feel like you have to do it if that's going to prevent you from doing other things.
It's not going to prevent me from doing anything.
Can you pick things up?
No, but I could see things, and I could untransform into a cloud.
Ooh.
And be on the inside.
I think it's worth it if you
start a revolt from the inside.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was just imagining this. If we got in without anyone's notice, we'd have a little bit of an edge once we were inside because they wouldn't be on any kind of guard. Exiting would be the difficult part in that case. if we go with your plan of drawing them away, we will have less of them to deal with as we exit. We'll have a timer because they would come back at some point. But then whatever's inside would have more chance to guard itself against us and make things more difficult. So there's benefits to both ways. But with you getting some knowledge on what's on the inside, that could be amazing. Because then we'd really know what we need to do once we get in there, instead of just trying to adapt on the fly.
Okay, so I'll just go float in there first, then come back, tell you what's on the inside, and then if we want to, I can turn into Ulfric, whatever his name is. Uric.
And we might even have you... We might have to take a pretty wide berth, but we would want you to approach from the north side.
Looking all wounded.
Exactly.
Could you make yourself look like him? This is all based on the assumption first.
Yeah, hold on, let me ask. Hey, Dad. You know how you can, like, take over my body? Do you think you could take it over as a bear instead?
I suspect as long as it does not grow too large, I think we can mimic the size roughly of that Yorick fellow.
All right, Andres says yes.
Okay. Yes, I'll believe you.
So I think we start with those two. All right. Jiri, you're up, I guess.
Okay, here I go. And Jiri decondenses, disintegrates into a cloud, and then just starts slowly moving his way forward.
I have this. Please tell me I have this. I still have it.
Straight through the fog. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I can't access it.
Oh my god.
Let me call it Jiri so you have control. Okay, I just changed it to control, so you should have control.
Looks like a ghastly.
It is literally a cloud ghastly.
That's the cutest fucking thing.
Puff.
It's cuter than the...
So Jiri, in this space, you feel there's no chance of them seeing your approach. You are cloud within fog. No stealth roll required. You are silent. You are virtually invisible. These individuals are not going to see subtle cloud drifting through a dense fog like this. So you are free to move at your leisure.
All right, I'm just gonna go straight for the building first. I'm not gonna stop by anybody, and I'm just gonna make my way through. If there's any opening in the front, anywhere I can get inside, I'm just gonna.
Notably, the front, there's large kind of rotting, damaged wooden plank doors that are like kind of off their hinges and leaning against each other, and there's some supplies packed in front of the doorway. It might be an ordeal for an individual to try and get in through the front door, but there's plenty of gaps for a gaseous form to get into. So you're absolutely able to just simply unhindered make your way in through the front entrance.
All right, puff on in and see what I see.
Okay, so within the chapel, there's virtually no roof structure. It's like all exposed wooden beams and trusses that are damaged and broken and splintered, and stone slates that were once on this roof have fallen into the space or out around the structure, and it is all collapsed. So there's also of note, although fog is pervasive in this space, there's not a ton of tree cover directly above you, so there is loose twilight dusk sunlight coming in, streaming in through the sky, and it kind of is almost a strange sensation as that kind of fills the whole atmosphere with this orange sensation as it reflects off the fog. But you are able to make it into this abandoned chapel. You see stained glass in multiple locations shattered and scattered across the floor. You see kind of wrinkled up rotten rugs. You see kind of a cracked altar up towards the front. You see various statues that are kind of in disrepair and are damaged. You see like a small separate room that as you float in there, there's various cabinets and stuff where perhaps some kind of ceremonial supplies were once kept. It is fairly difficult to ascertain anything of note in this space. You may have to really investigate thoroughly the interior of this location, but that's the information you kind of get very quickly just by moving around the space.
Okay. I'm gonna try to move very slowly and kind of stick to the ceiling to like make myself really look like just passing a fog, and I'll spend a little bit of more time just like peering around, just to see if I see anything moving or anybody around or anything living. Looking for.
Okay. Are you trying to let your kind of your senses dictate this, or like methodically dictate this? I kind of want. Are you leaning perception or investigation?
Probably perception. Yeah, Juries doesn't really investigate too much. He kind of just experiences.
Not very methodically like tracking clues, but more just trying to get a sense for feeling is their presence nearby. Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Damn, that was so many high rolls and then one at the bottom.
You feel very confident that there's no moving individuals, just the occasional fluttering of tapestries as the wind from the outside kind of filters in through this space and ruffles things. There's no movement or occupation within this space.
Okay. I'm going to head up to like the roof then and kind of get above these floorboards and just see if there's anything like on top of this structure, if there's anybody like walking around or anything instead of being on the inside of it, like above it.
I just made them visible. As you can see, as you kind of float up in the space, one additional archer kind of on the like upward joist scaffolding of the tallest part of the pillar. And they have a pretty good, because of the collapsing of this tower in the front, they have a very good view of the surrounding space. They're at a great vantage point, which would only be better if there was no fog here. But right now, the fog's probably damaging their ability to see very far, but great vantage point from that
How's
individual.
this tower looking, the one that it's on? Does it look structurally unsound as well?
There's dilapidation that has happened in stones. Stones are cracking. Some of the stones are like some of the kind of masonry units have like fallen into the space. It probably doesn't look extremely sound structurally. Like, you know, your detonation of sound magic might really make a difference here. Like, you could probably destroy part of this tower with a shatter or something. But it's structurally sound enough where it's not going to crumble with traffic on it.
Okay. Do I hear anybody talking? Like any of the creatures that are out front or any like near the chapel?
I'll say, as you're kind of just moving throughout the space, you eventually hear this creature kind of snarl, wake up from its supposed nap, and this individual tosses them something and it starts to chow down on a piece of meat or something. So there's movement, there's existence that's occurring here, but there's not very much conversation to be heard, and this individual up on top of the roof is not making any noise. They're just sitting and looking.
Okay. I'm gonna float on back through the people here. Do I hear any of them speaking as I
make the cloud big again?
I will say I'll make the cloud big again, and I'll give you one more perception check just as you're returning to see if you catch anything. Or specifically,
the cloud is killing me. It's my favorite part of the session.
Yes,
it's amazing.
You don't hear any conversation that's happening as you make your way back, but you know, if you wanted to go to some of these individuals and just remain near them for a while, you'd probably for free get some conversation information.
Yeah, I'll go to
on the way back.
Yeah, I'll do that with just these two and just kind of like sit behind them and wait until I hear some type of conversation.
I'll say you wait there for a solid 5 minutes, and they are just occasionally just like shifting in place. They're trying to be comfortable in their watch. And then one of them looks to be like a tabaxi looking individual next to a bugbear, kind of like Sarabi from Lion King, just very simple tan colored lioness furred tabaxi woman. Kind of just says, it's been a while. I don't know that they're coming back.
Okay.
I know we're not in the position to make the call, but at some point we gotta head out.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, floaty. Back
And the
here.
bugbear just grunts in response. Just... Okay, you
Back to
return.
everybody. Recondense, excuse me, back in the jury. Tell them everything I saw and heard. And see what they have to say.
Perfect. You are able to do so for sure.
So we don't have the ability to like strike team this and take out small bands of groups silently and like instantly without killing them, do we? Is that outside of our range of possibility?
I would say from a DM perspective, you would think it's going to be very difficult to do so without noise unless you guys roll pretty successfully on some things. I would say it's absolutely possible. You can certainly try. It's just probably unlikely to make no noise.
I mean, all of my spells, I need to utter an incantation, so that already is a potential problem.
Casting spells gives away, you can cast spells quietly, but functionally it removes hide. Maybe pass without a trace, which is probably diminished at the point while Jiri's been exploring, but pass without a trace could sufficiently quiet you guys' approach in certain directions. So it's possible. It's just difficult.
Sounds like they're waiting for
them to return.
And then they said they're gonna leave if they don't show up soon. So we could wait and follow them and see where they, like, if they leave, where they go. Or I could just pretend to be Ulrich and be like, I'm back. Hi, guys. I missed you.
I think we should... What do you think, Ola?
I don't think... was there anything in there? Like, did you see any of those beasts?
No, there's no beasts. I mean... I looked as hard as I could, which was really good. I looked really good, and there's nothing in there. You know, I'm really good at looking at stuff, so there's nothing.
It's one of those times where you say something with confidence because you have no confidence.
It's the opposite of that. And there was a crow in a tower, and I think I can blow up that tower if we wanted to. So that's on the table as well.
Well, do we need to harm these individuals, though?
That's the thing. I couldn't tell if they were evil or not.
Or if there were any of these creatures that Eldrin are so concerned about.
They seem pretty wolf-like, but now we do know, thanks to Gonzalo, that not all wolves are evil, potentially. Just most of them.
Just most of them on our side.
I really like the idea
Gonzalo smirks and shakes his head.
Of trying the deceptive route and trying to get many of them to walk away from here so it's fewer we'd have to fight without killing them. If it came to that.
Is there a possibility that we could like tell them that Yurik and their comrades are like injured and need help? Like have like sent us to, or like sent a messenger to go help them or something to help them, encourage them to leave? Or
I mean, I could show up and be like, all our buddies are injured. We gotta go help them.
They're surrounded. They need aid.
Or I'm the only one that was able to walk. Big battle. They're all too wounded to even make it back.
And even I need to rest here.
I think fear would motivate them more than trying to help someone than not even show that they can help. So maybe Ulrich pretends I came and I think they're following me. Either to like finish us off so we could evade them or we could run toward them and fight them. Like that might motivate them to either go fight or to flee. As opposed to like, well, let's go help the people that are a day away and injured.
But what's gonna happen when fake Yurik like
doesn't go?
It doesn't go with them.
Well, I think that's why it needs to be injured.
I'll walk with a limp. Be like, My leg is broken.
I mean, honestly, yeah, you could have said you just fleed for a day.
Just say I made it here to warn you guys. I don't know if I can continue on.
I'm spent and I'll slow you down. Go fight them or flee, but I'll just remain here. Also, they might not leave every single person.
Oh, Toby, you got arrows? We can break one in half and like put it in, like attach it to my leg and
We
pretend
can
like
definitely do that.
I got an arrow sticking out of my leg.
I do honestly think this is the best route.
I think
as
so
opposed
too.
to just like fighting
We
away.
need to encourage them to flee or to fight. And I think this is our best way to do so.
So are all of us just gonna wait off in the perimeter? Hide in the fog?
I don't think we need to move too far from where we are. Because the idea, I think, is to get Jiri to approach from the north. And potentially
also-
draw all of them that way.
Which way would Uruk come from, though? He'd probably come from this direction, though.
That's what they're thinking, but we might be able to... That's the whole thing, is that they got deceived, or...
I think if we draw them south or north, it doesn't matter as long as they are going one direction with some
Yes.
volition. Also, you should have Moby 3 hover above, trying to listen, because Jerry will be able to communicate us what they're deciding, but you can tell us if they're buying it or not,
Sure.
or if and when they're leaving. And who would have abilities to help Jerry fly?
Fly?
Does anyone have their ability to
Yeah, I
enhance?
can do it.
Okay, Roulette
I
can
mean, I can
enhance
just
Jerry.
become invisible and be near him.
You can be invisible?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. How long?
There are some pretty big dogs up there that can probably
hour.
smell you.
Oh. The invisibility is really great to know. But if you can enhance his ability to lie, maybe Toby can give a little something.
For a minute.
And then for a minute, and then we fake an arrow in his. Honestly, we should just.
So
I don't know.
We're gonna
We don't want
get
them to sniff you out too much.
We're gonna get out an arrow and some simple like bandages, because
I feel
Anything sticky.
I feel the arrow might they might come try to help you with it, and maybe we should just not pretend. We should just have you limp, because if they find the arrows tied to you, it'll be a giveaway.
Oh yeah, make my leg look like bloody, maybe. We got blood?
I can make noises. I can make noises as
You just make yourself look bloody when you make yourself look
Oh,
like
hold
Ulrich.
on. Let's see what Adras can do. Adras, make me look like that big dead bear person.
Very well. I will do my best.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
The cloud's going. Who made the cloud?
Tim sent it to me. I PNGified it.
Obsessed.
You see Jerry's form not like violently rip and dislocate and such like you've seen were creatures before, but rather calmly just like shift. You see sprouts of hair and fur just crawl across his form over his clothes, and he grows about a foot or so and into the form of a werebear that looks just like Ulrich.
Does he look injured?
I would say if you were intending for Adras to help you look injured, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I said to make him look like the dead body that we found. That he looked like.
Right? Yeah. He looks very worse for wear, very heavily injured and wounded.
Wait, how did anybody remember how the bear died?
I cut his. Wait.
I don't remember who was who.
I think I put my sword through his jaw into his brain.
Okay, so then there's like a lot of blood like coming down like from my mouth, like all down my chest.
Yes.
Are you gonna drag yourself across the path?
A limp.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, let's all the rest of us get out of the way.
Jerry, how fast can you turn into mist if you need to?
Instantaneously.
Okay. I just want you to be prepared if they have things that can smell. They might greet you with suspicion. So just be ready to evacuate.
Oh, Toby can make me smell.
Can one of you make him smell like Yorick?
Oh, actually,
Would it make me smell?
I can. I will.
He smells dead.
I'll give you like 2 rocks or something that are just emitting odor of wet dog, or whatever smell
Wet
was
bear.
coming from.
You would have smelled it.
Wild.
You would have
Wet bear
smelled the
and
blood.
blood.
We killed them.
Yeah.
You know what the blood smelled like.
Yeah, whatever. I will do my best to give him 2 or 3 things that smell of werebear.
Okay.
All right, so triple advantage plus your crazy persuasion. We're good.
And oh wait, what was his voice? It was like, I, yes, I am. What do I say? I guess I'm gonna tell them.
However, I can fuck up Tim's voice.
Okay, guys. There's all sorts of Eladrin elves coming.
And Crit, when I read his mind, he thought of them as those elves stealing their prize.
Yeah, supposedly they stole a Zaratan, whatever creature that is, and you had seen a glimpse in his reading his mind of like a enormous turtle-like creature with natural growth growing out of its shell. So they had stolen a Zaratan.
And they were trying to get it back from the elves.
Well, they left fairly dejected, unable to. They were pretty outnumbered, that pack, against the Eladrin, and therefore they kind of just were forced to suck it up and move on by the time you found them. And you didn't find them terribly far from Kaer Methrin, so you don't know how recently that had happened or what their motivations would be to have tried to get it back or just go back here. You don't know their next pursuit. But
So, Jiri, you can say, we failed to steal the Zaratran back. Is that Zaratran? And the elves slaughtered your company, and do you think they pursued you? But,
Okay.
yeah. And then you put your own spin on it, Jiri style.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, go, Moby, ready.
I will launch Moby 3. Moby 3 will land on your shoulder, and you'll feel a needle prick as I, for no reason other than I can do it, cast Enhance ability through Moby 3 into Jiri as a werebear.
okay, give me
And you
one
have it.
second to.
You have advantage on charisma checks for the next hour.
What did remind me? I guess that Jiro would ask this. What did the bear refer to the elves as? Just elves or Eladrin? Or what did he use?
It was those elves, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Those elves. And what did he refer to his friends as? His companions?
I don't think he did. Just say the others. Keep it vague. All right, and we'll be in position, I suppose.
Yeah, the rest of us will start moving clockwise, like Rome and I had explored.
Rome, can you cast that ability again to make us more stealthy?
Oh yeah, we can all be.
Even now, stealth would be advantageous.
Yeah, I'll cast Pass Without a Trace again.
Yeah. Welcome to Roulette. Was Moby anticipated to stay near you or Jiri?
Moby 3,
Or
I was gonna
hovering above.
I was gonna have it hovering above,
Okay.
but I have a limit of 100 feet. So the second that it gets out of 100 feet range, it's going to shoot 50 feet in the air and then return back to me safely.
Tabirin, I'm gonna try to stay close. So in case there's something you need to tell me, you can just make the thoughts happen in my mind.
All right, I have a range of 60 feet on that, and I'll do what I can. If there's something we think of.
Good luck out there, big guy. Kinsella gives you a pat on the back.
I got this.
How
Very
close
well.
can we follow him?
I'm the best actor in all of Jawland. You'll see.
So I want, before anything else happens, I want a sense of the stealth of the party. So everyone in the party that's not Jiri Moby's going to be far enough away that I'm not going to worry about its stealth. But anyone but Jiri, go ahead and give me stealth check. Pass without a trace is active, so you get an extra +10.
Thank God.
Oh my god, I rolled a nat 20.
14, 17, 14. What was your total, Telperion?
21.
Wow.
Wait, with the +10?
Yeah, +1 for my stealth. So, and with disadvantage, I rolled a 20 and a 10.
Okay. Thank God for that pass without a trace. It's not
Yeah.
very bad at all because of that. So, cool. 14, 17, 14, 21.
Oh my god, having someone who can cast that spell with us.
Oh, Kinsala needs to do it as well. My apologies.
Without Rome here, we were just going to have to burst our way in the front door.
And a 21. So, matching Telperion. So, you guys feel fairly confident that you're not going to draw the attention. The fog is helping visually, and you are putting extra emphasis, and the shadows kind of emanating from Rome, like, quiet your footsteps a little bit. So you guys feel like you're covered there. Jiri, would you like to proceed?
Yeah, so Jiri takes a few steps back, getting farther away, and then he like starts running, but like limp running, and like making a lot of noise, like making him like very apparent that he's like approaching, and like grunting and panting, and like really like pretending like he's exhausted, like big deep breaths, like with this bare voice, like
as you run forward, limping, and making noise. Some of these individuals, definitely you hear them perk up and adjust and start to move in your direction. And I think that's where I'd like to call it a session for today, as you guys are approaching and putting into place your plan, and we'll see how that goes next time.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about when we can play next.
That's true, because next weekend's off the table. So whenever we resume, this is what we'll get into, is approaching the chapel and this interaction.